Oh shoot, it's time to play Kahoot.
Aw shoot, it's time to play Kahoot. Aw shoot, it's time to play Kahoot.
Aw shoot, it's time to play Kahoot. It's a friendly competition, but a competition nonetheless. Boy, it's time to play Kahoot. I hope that all y'all brought your best. If you studied for the quiz, then you don't even gotta guess. We inside the lab and we not coming out like house arrest. One would say that we obsessed with learning, plus we having fun. I'm like Obi-Wan Kenobi. You see all my patty ones, quiet and the chatty ones. Everybody playing it. It's a battle of our wits, and we make it live and lit. It's lit. I got the keys, I'm the plug, I'm the admin. Look at the screen, pick the pen, go on and log in. You better be ready with that knowledge in your noggin. Ready? Cause when that countdown in, you know we going in. Aw shoot, it's time to play Kahoot. It may seem like horseplay, but now we learning as a group. We stern and resolute, and we gaining knowledge bit by bit. Sometimes learning's quiet, other times it's loud and passionate.
There's no running from this L. If you know you didn't study, play me one-on-one or with your group, go get your buddies. In the end, it's a win-win. If you win or lose, we gonna discuss the answers when we finish as a group. But until that time comes, we pushing one another, engaging in some healthy competition with each other. We gauging what we know to see just what we need to learn. Catch me on this answer street, look at all these coins I earned.
Got my nickname, got my A game, so let's get it poppin'. When I get them answers right, ice cream like Baskin Robbins. Taking candy from a baby, but no, I'm not robbing. If you sleeping on a kid, boy, wake up because you slobbing. If you sleeping on us, then I hope you tossing and turning. We not just playing games, show we actually learning. And we constantly yearning to learn something new every day. Check my grades and my conduct, yeah, I slay.
Aw shoot, it's time to play Kahoot. It may seem like horseplay, but now we learning as a group. We stern and resolute, and we gaining knowledge bit by bit. Sometimes learning's quiet, other times it's loud and passionate.
Sometimes we are silent and we take a standardized test. It's so quiet you could hear a pen drop off the desk. Sometimes this is best we learn, yes, I confess. But sometimes we get energy to burn, yes, we a mess.
But we not talking crazy riot like a violent protest. Everything under control, man, we focused on progress. And part of the process is inviting interest into lessons, integrating ideas like Pinterest.
Do you think we at recess? These smiles on our face. And when we play Kahoot, man, I'm always gonna place. First, second, maybe third in the worst case. Getting all them answers right, green glowing on my face.
Nobody catch fits, we all good sports. All out like a blitz ball, like we on the court. Yeah, we gain in our brain, you can check the report. If you got a migraine, we apologize for the noise, sorry.
Aw shoot, it's time to play Kahoot. It may seem like horseplay, but now we learning as a group. We stern and resolute, and we gaining knowledge bit by bit. Sometimes learning's quiet, other times it's loud and passionate.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back for day 2 of our 4th annual Kahoot EDU Summit. Whether you're back for another day of awesome learning or maybe just joining in for the very first time with us, we're so glad you're here and so glad you are ready to partake in this awesome PD event. I already saw the chat is quite active. We are so glad you're tuning in, maybe asynchronously or just listening in potentially, and wondering with a quick poll in our chat. I'm wondering if this is your first event ever, or maybe we've hung out with you before. I saw Connie is back for a second day. Someone says, hooray, it's day 2. So excited from Las Vegas. We're so excited. We are so excited that you are back. And we're hoping that this day and all of the sessions and speakers today help to equip you, empower you, and ultimately help you to make awesome learning happen in your classroom. I'm seeing definitely a mixed crowd, though. It seems we have some new faces too. So welcome. I can pretty much guarantee that the time you share with us today will be both impactful, worthwhile, and definitely definitely high energy and full of awesome details. We're joined by educators and school-based staff from literally around the world. If you can see the countries, the cities, the names scrolling through in the chat, I'm seeing Bangladesh, different parts of Europe, different parts of the US, West Virginia, Serbia, so many people here, so many places that we have covered across the map, and a true testament to the awesome efforts of our teacher community at large, never letting an opportunity to learn, to connect, to build community pass by. So kudos to you. Thank you for being here. And we are so glad that you're open with ears and hearts and ready to partake in some awesome learning. We have so much to cover. We're going to be both uncovering and unpacking many modes, mediums, and moments that really help to empower student success and growth. We'll hear from some of our awesome brand partners like Intuit, Apple Education, and we'll even field trip to Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida with Disney Imagination Campus for a session later today. By the end of our event, we'll also be joined by special guest Emily Hampshire, acclaimed actress, popular from Schitt's Creek, a TV show, but also now a young adult author in the graphic novel space. I won't give away too much yet. I want you to stay tuned and hear it firsthand, but Emily definitely knows about the experience of channeling inner superpowers as a superhero, and that's really what the whole day and whole event is about. We have so much to share about what it means to make an impact in your community and in the lives of your students, whether as a learner or a leader. We'll also be continuing our scavenger hunt today. You can check out my moon character in the background. A quick check-in just with the chat again. I wonder if anyone was able to collect some of the hidden characters throughout our day yesterday. Who did you find? I have the moon. I also saw a few other celestial characters hanging out. I know a starfish was there, a sun was there. So fun to see. Someone says they got the moon, they got Earth, a sun. People are excited to learn, and a superhero. Awesome. Continue taking those pictures, those selfies or screenshots, and sharing with us on social medias, whether Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We're recording it everywhere. As long as you hashtag Kahoot EDU Summit, you'll be entered for a chance to win an awesome swag pack and maybe match me with a Kahoot t-shirt at our next event. In case you missed it, all of these characters are visible on screen and usually in the background of our speakers today, session by session. So definitely be sure you capture, stay on your toes, and find them all. I think there's about 5 in our sessions today, so worth recording and making sure that you tune in for the event in its entirety. I know that time's a ticking. I'm almost ushered off stage, but lots to cover and a few reminders just to keep us all on the same page as we get started. All of our sessions will be recorded and available after the event. So if you missed parts of yesterday or aren't able to make the whole session today, we hope that you also join us on demand to watch these sessions back for quick reminders, quick reviews, or maybe even to see the first time. Any educator and participant joining in today will receive a certificate of attendance for joining us. You can expect to get those in the next day or two, and we hope that you use it to help certify your awesomeness here at the Kahoot EDU Summit. Should you need to take a break or step away from your screen anytime during the session, we'll be live for the next 3 hours, all the way until 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific, or all the way until 9 p.m. Central European. And you can find us again at kahoot.com or on our YouTube stream. We have a fantastic group of crew members. You may have already connected with them already in our chat stream today. Feel free to share any questions, comments, maybe even some inspiration or suggestions. We'd love to hear from you and are so excited to continue chatting and connecting with you as our sessions come and go today. We hope all of these speakers and sessions keep you so curious, and definitely let us know maybe what you're thinking, what you're feeling, or even questions you might have as they come up. We are excited to move into more awesome updates and awesome tools as we welcome back Sean Darcy to the stage, this time with even more exciting news on features and tools made specifically for our teacher and admin communities joining us today. Welcome, Sean. It's good to have you back.
Thank you so much, Hannah. It's great to be back here on day 2. And thanks again for everybody for spending some time with us over the next a few hours. So let's kick it off with what's going on for both educators and admins this back to school. We're really excited about that. We also, yesterday, of course, we covered everything that's coming up for students. As Hannah points out, all of that will be recorded and added to Kahoot.com. So do check that out if you missed that. And we have so many cool updates there as well. All right, so let's zoom in on what's coming up for educators and admins. Before I do that, and I know some of you are new to Kahoot, so I'll just give you the really high level about what Kahoot at School is. We're all about playful, powerful learning every day, supporting hundreds of millions of students, educators, and admins all the way around the world. And we do that through a bunch of different solutions, one of which is called Kahoot EDU, which I'm going to come back to and dive a little bit deeper in today than I did yesterday. And also a recap, I know some of you guys were here yesterday, so you've seen this already, but for those of you who are just joining in, I did want to set the context a little bit by digging into some of the key trends that we expect this back to school. The first is all around student engagement. We know this is a big deal. Teachers are telling us this is the #1 hurdle in their profession, and admins are actually putting it at the very top of their list, their wish list for EdTech. So it's something that, of course, we are trying to support with. We know that educators are in a real time crunch. So over a third of educators out there say the one thing that would help them is more time. And I know for sure we're going to be able to help all you educators out there with some new solutions this back to school, which we're going to come back to. And lastly, admins are telling us that they want, tools that are going to, that just stick, that are right off the shelf and ready to use. Multi-purpose tools that teachers also love, so they don't have to spend a lot of time doing professional development. And that also, of course, demonstrate learning efficacy and hopefully play well with the rest of their EdTech. And that also sounds a little bit like Kahoot EDU. So looking forward to covering that. And again, so yesterday we covered everything for students. As you can see, lots of great stuff there. Do check out that video on kahoot.com when it becomes available. So let's see what's in store now for educators and admins this back to school. And to get us started with that, I'm going to pass you over to our teacher toolkit guru, Pork Woods. Hey, Pork.
All right, how you doing, Sean? Thank you very much. Yes, my name is Pork Woods. I'm a director of product here at Kahoot. You might have seen me yesterday, for those of you who joined. And today I'd like to talk to you about enhancing the teacher toolkit. So Kahoot is all about giving educators teaching superpowers. And over the last 10 years, over 1 billion questions have been created. 8.5 million teachers have been on the platform just in the last 12 months. And over 450,000 teachers have upgraded to a paid plan to enhance their teacher toolkits. And we're not stopping. We are continuing to build out our engagement features. So we are bringing more interactivity and engagement to your lessons. Something we hope to release in the coming weeks is interactive slides. And with the new interactive slide feature, students can react to a teacher's slides by choosing from one of 5 emojis. The reaction is shown on the shared screen for everyone to see. As you see here, the reaction floats up from the bottom. And yes, it is possible to turn it off if it gets a little bit too much. We've added 5 different emojis to convey different emotions. We have like, love, laugh, wow, and interesting or ponder. So all positive reactions. It's also possible to get an aggregated view. So if you wanted to get the total number of reactions on any one emoji, you can click on the button below the next button in the top right-hand corner and get this aggregated view of the number of reactions. And finally, it's possible to turn on slide reactions in the Kahoot Creator. So you can already plan when creating your Kahoot which slides you would like to allow students to react to. So that's the slide reaction feature, which should be available in the coming weeks. A new feature we are working on is the quick session feature. And this allows you to launch a Kahoot session without having a pre-made Kahoot. You can simply add questions on the fly. And we believe this feature really benefits our higher education users where it's possible to facilitate immediate engagement in a hybrid session. It's also great for capturing teachable moments. That's just 2 of the features that we've been working on. I'll switch gears now and we'll talk a little bit about improving educator productivity together with my colleague, Matt. So something we've been very conscious of when developing new features is how we can save educators precious time and energy. In a recent survey, over a third of teachers say that more time is the one thing that would help them the most. There also continues to be staff shortages, and larger classes are becoming the norm. We also see teachers searching more than 200 million times for ready-to-play Kahoots in the last 12 months alone. So we've been working on making your life easier by introducing features to help you save time and effort. The first feature I'd like to mention is Question Bank. We've significantly improved the search results for our Question Bank feature. With over 1 billion questions available to search from, there's a good chance that somebody out there has already created the question you are looking for. You can simply search for the topic and add it to your Kahoot. We have also been working on ways to improve learning outcomes and to boost teacher productivity by applying AI across the entire Kahoot platform. And the first feature we have just launched is the AI-assisted question creator or generator. It's now possible to enter a simple prompt which generates a 10 multiple choice questions in about 30 seconds using the Microsoft Azure OpenAI models. This is sure to be a huge time saver for teachers generating Kahoots on any subject. This feature is live on the platform, and we've started by giving early access to Kahoot Plus Max and Kahoot EDU subscribers. We hope to roll it out to more users for back to school. So just to give you a quick preview of how that works, I'm here in the logged in as a Kahoot user. I click on the Create button, I click on the Kahoot, and now you've got this new option, Question Generator, that's AI assisted. When you enter that dialog, you're now presented with the opportunity to type a prompt to some prompt suggestions on the bottom, like Spanish verbs, here you can see, or plants and animal cells. Here I've written capital cities of Europe, and I click generate, and in about 20 to 30 seconds, you get a 10 question Kahoot generated. And from here, you can validate the question and answers. So you can go through the different questions and the answer results, and you can choose the questions that you want to add to your Kahoot. You can continue to add new questions by entering a new prompt, clicking refresh, and then you get more suggestions. So you can continue to edit and add more and more questions from the AI question generator. And after generating or adding all the questions that you're happy with, you can add your image. For example, in that example, it was an image suggested from Getty Images. This is an early version of this feature. We would like to get your feedback, so please check it out and let us know what you think. Yes, so we aren't stopping there. We will continue to build out more AI-enhanced features with an advanced Kahoot generator. Here it will be possible to input criteria to allow you to magically create the perfect Kahoot for your class. So you get advanced options for generating full Kahoots. This is something that will come later this year. And next, we are working on a co-writer feature that allows you to shorten, expand, or change the tone of a selected paragraph of text. So all of these features dotted around the Kahoot platform try to make your life easier and more efficient through the use of AI. And finally, the last feature, we are also looking to use AI to create AI-generated follow-up Kahoots based on the areas students struggled the most. So after completing a Kahoot, we can identify the areas where students struggled and automatically generate suggested new Kahoots based on those student results. So with that, I'd like to hand you over to Matt, who will talk more about ready-to-play content for educators. Take it away, Matt.
Hey, thanks, Pork. Hello, everybody. As mentioned, we at Kahoot know that your time is precious, and perhaps there's never enough time to do all the great things that you would like. And it's exciting to be with you today to share more about how you can save time and energy through our ready-to-play, high-quality content that is both free and paid. In fact, did you know that we have more than 100 million Kahoots available from our search and discover in your Kahoot account? It's amazing. We also wanted to take your content experience to a new level. So in addition to free content, we also offer a premium content experience in two main ways. The first is what we call Kahoot Plus Access Pass. And the second is our newly created marketplace for creators. So let's first take a look at what is Kahoot Plus Access Pass. So Access Pass is a comprehensive content library subscription. It contains thousands of the very best premium quality Kahoots that you can trust, including exclusive collections from your favorite brands such as Disney and Marvel, as well as well-known creators and more. You know, it's one subscription with unlimited content that covers literally topics from A to Z, and in 4 languages, including Spanish, German, French, and soon to be Dutch, and of course, English. So every month, new and exclusive and relevant content is uploaded that focuses not only on the main subjects that are important, but also on seasonal and timely content that is happening in real time. So if you'd like to check it out, browse what content's available, feel free to scan the QR code here and have a look through and see if it's something that might save you time and energy in your classroom. Also, it's important to note that Access Pass is included in your Kahoot Plus Max and your Kahoot EDU Pro subscriptions. So Sean will tell us a little bit more about that later, but that's an awesome deal, an awesome bundle to take advantage of. Now, the next premium content experience Kahoot offers is through our creator marketplace. Some of you may have heard of this, or some of you may be participating in this. Well, what is it? The creator marketplace consists of unique courses and lessons created by our trusted verified creators for deeper learning and engagement, and where verified creators can monetize their own content. These courses often contain resource guides, multiple Kahoots, PDF printouts, videos, slides, and more. And every user who sells on the marketplace is verified by Kahoot. So you know that it's going to be higher quality and trusted. Now, the marketplace not only provides an opportunity to help support the creator, but also provides really engaging, unique lesson plans that you can't find anywhere else. So how do you access the content? Well, marketplace content can be accessed from the tab on the left-hand side in your Kahoot account, and it says Marketplace. Now, I believe that teachers are truly the heroes, some of the most incredible, hardworking people who go above and beyond. It's because you care. I still remember several of my teachers from my early years and the impact they had on me, even as early as my kindergarten teacher. And we hope that the marketplace will offer you the opportunity that you deserve to earn a little extra money for your incredible efforts, while still providing value to the community. You can still offer a mix of free and marketplace content if you prefer. And you know, we just launched this last year, and in just the short time, we have seen many teachers have success. In fact, one teacher, Karen, said, "My major success so far has been the experience of being a part of the marketplace. I'm being engaged and I have fun thinking what might sell. It's super easy, you can't lose. So if you have fun making Kahoots, I would say, just go for it." Also, James, another one of our verified educators and sellers, said earning the extra income from Kahoot has been amazing. The first payout occurred during the holiday season, and it was used to add a few gifts under the Christmas tree for my wife and 1-year-old son. So if you'd like to give it a try, go for it. There's nothing to lose, and try and see if you can monetize your content. And you can do this by simply logging into your Kahoot account, and in the section where you edit your profile, follow the steps at the top of the screen, as you can see here. It's very simple, and if you've already made Kahoots or courses, it's even easier. Now, with all of this, we wanted to provide more opportunities for you to both monetize and market your content. So today I'm happy to announce and introduce to you the all new Kahoot channels for creators coming this fall. Kahoot channels will allow users to subscribe and gain access to all of the content within that individual channel. You might be familiar with this concept from YouTube or Twitter Spaces and other platforms. This is an even better opportunity for our creators to offer both free and paid content, and provides them with a more stable opportunity for monetization, recognition, and engaging with their audience, with your audience. Also, subscribers receive access to a package of high quality content that they both need and love. In addition, they also get access to a unique creator community where they can interact and engage with individual creators. When subscribing to a channel, users gain access to all of the content within that channel, also including ongoing, newly added content. It's a win-win situation for creators and users. So, do you want to get involved? Does this sound interesting to you? We'll scan the QR code and sign up and join the list to join the beta test, to be one of the early testers to create and use Kahoot channels. And we will get in touch with you very soon. You know, we truly have an incredible community of teachers from more than 140 countries and creating content in more than 30 languages. And get this, did you know that we have more than 290 million players that have engaged with Kahoot verified content in the last 12 months? That's verified content. So we invite you to join the community, become verified, share your content with others, connect with others, be featured on our Discover page to millions, literally. Receive a profile, and if you want, create a following. And you can simply do this, become verified by scanning the QR code, or in your Kahoot account, you can click on Go to Application as seen in the image here on your homepage account. You all are super awesome. Thank you so much, and I'll send it back to you, Sean.
Thank you so much, Matt, and also Porrick for an amazing overview of all that's happening for educators this back to school. Now let's switch it up and have a look at what's coming up for institutional admins. Before we jump in, I wanted to share some context for you guys. So yeah, as I mentioned before, we know the number one purchasing concern for admins are products that really just sit on the shelf, never really get used. We also know that the impact on student engagement is really at the top of the EdTech wish list. So engagement is really the top job to be done right now. And as pandemic funding fades, admins are looking for fewer but more effective tools that can do it all. Now, our Kahoot EDU solution really enables admins to scale engaging learning by empowering every single educator and student with our full toolkit, all in one package that always just works. So let's have a look at what East Meadow School District has achieved with Kahoot EDU.
Kahoot is a great tool for you to use as you want to use it. It's adaptable to whatever you need. If you want to make it a game, a learning tool, team mode or individual mode, it's very user-friendly. You could type your own questions. If you don't want to type your own questions, search something up and then you can edit it, making it your own, and then it becomes your Kahoot.
I think it engages students. It keeps them on task. It's a great way for them to study. We have a lot of our students that create their own Kahoots as a review after a unit or even to study for an exam that's coming up. So it's great that it's not just a teacher-led platform, but it can be a student-led platform as well.
The more you use it and the way you use it in your classroom, it really can be like part of the lesson and a really positive thing, not really kind of like just letting kids play games, because it's more than a game, you know?
Wow, that was really awesome. And behind all that engagement, of course, is impactful learning. And we saw student well-being there as well, kids really enjoying themselves. And dozens of studies have really shown that Kahoot not only helps with engagement, but also has real effects on attendance, participation, and motivation, while at the same time reducing student anxiety. Kids love Kahoot. If it's a game, so they actually relax and lean into it. And 70% of studies show that Kahoot significantly raises students' final grades. And we are just, we have so many studies out there that are actually showing the impact of Kahoot. We're now starting to validate that with a partner in the US called Learn Platform. And we've done the first validation that shows that we meet the standards of evidence for Every Student Succeeds Act, or ESSA. And this validation should, of course, support US-based K-12 schools and districts to access government funding for Kahoot EDU. We'll work with Learn Platform, hopefully, to even build up this validation further. So we look forward to that. Now, did you know that you can teach with more than standard Kahoots? Not everybody knows this, but educators can now create full-blown lessons on the platform that include PDFs, videos, and even student-paced activities. And these lessons can now be delivered live in class or asynchronously as independent work. And with Kahoot EDU, they can be shared as a link right inside your learning management system. What's more is that with Kahoot EDU, you can equip students with a toolkit via our Student Passes functionality. Now, students can do project-based learning with Kahoot creation and presentation, or else use our self-study kit to learn on their own. This is great for accelerating learning or playing catch-up from the pandemic learning loss. And for back to school, we'll be adding premium ready-to-play content, just like Matt showed you, to Student Passes in Kahoot EDU Pro. In addition to students, Kahoot can now help you to engage both teaching and even non-teaching staff using the Kahoot app. With the app, you can engage staff in professional development, be it live or self-paced. You can communicate and train temporary staff, live or self-paced as well. And more importantly, you can actually, add your own institutional branding throughout the experience. And we'll be adding productivity tools with using AI as we go along. So this is a really great way to look at Kahoot, not only for classroom engagement, but as a way to engage your entire organization. And for those of you that want to take learning really to the next level, we have a Kahoot EDU Pro, which is right now our #1 selling plan for institutions leading up to back to school. And it includes everything that we've shown over the last couple of days in the 2023 back to school package, including the Kahoot creation with AI. It also gives you the ability to play massive asynchronous games with up to 10,000 players. So you can imagine if you wanted to play across your entire district, that would be possible. It would also integrate with your tools, your other EdTech tools using our Kahoot API. And again, we're going to be adding study goals and premium ready-to-play Kahoots for courses for students as part of this package. So we've covered a lot of ground, I hope you agree, over the last couple of days. And just to recap, today we've seen slide reactions and quick sessions to give educators those learning superpowers for teaching. We've seen the Kahoot generator with AI and the content channels that are hopefully going to help save educators precious time and effort. We've also seen the new and improved courses and enhanced student passes. We saw that how Kahoot can actually engage even more than the students, of course, the entire staff, and really deliver engaging learning at scale. And as I mentioned yesterday, once again, we have some excellent EDU Summit upgrade offers available until the end of the week for both Kahoot Plus Max and for Kahoot EDU Pro for institutions. And if you're not too sure, you can always send us a note at schoolpack@kahoot.com. And these plans will all get you access to Kahoot creation with AI, to either end the school year on a high note, or perhaps start this new school year on the front foot. So thanks everyone for your time. I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit, and I hope you have a happy and very restful summer. You deserve it. Back over to you, Hannah.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sean. Just echoing that again, teachers, you so deserve it. And we are so grateful and thankful for all the ways that you're helping us make Kahoot an amazing place to learn, to grow, to share. And we really appreciate you joining in on the conversations today. Thank you, Sean, Matt, and Porrick, for that deep dive on all things Kahoot, new updates and features. Really, Kahoot has become not just a tool, but a full collaborative community over the last few months and really years even, with opportunities to now sell and promote your own learning courses on the marketplace. Teachers and educators are really helping one another, helping each other, rather than just creating in the microsphere of your own classroom and for your own students. Really a true ripple effect of learning, inspiring awesome learning with students, and then students continuing to feel empowered and encouraged regardless of their teacher situation, experience, dynamic, so on and so forth. As educators, we hold so much responsibility in curating and fostering both the enriching and safe and secure learning environments for our students. Our partners and friends at Clever are really helping to close that loop to ensure that student safety remains a priority for technology-based instruction. And Jennifer Plumma of Clever is here to share how all of these Clever tools are really helping students to stay on that same digital space, literally and figuratively. Welcome, Jen.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Hannah, thank you so much for that great introduction. So we're going to go ahead and get started today. So if you have not shared or introduced yourself, go ahead and do so on the chat by dropping your name and the city and the country that you're joining us from. I'm so excited to get started today. Yeah, so I see we have a lot of individuals joining us from different cities and parts of the world. I'm super excited. And I know you all introduced yourselves at the beginning. So we're going to go ahead and get started. So hello, everyone. My name is Jen, and I work as a customer solutions representative at Clever. Now, before we get started, I'd like to share a personal story back when I was a teacher. Imagine 25 first grade students trying to log in at once. Their username is their first name, the @ yesprep.org. And their password, that's their birthday and month, day, year format. Most of these kids, again, first graders, don't even know what year they were born, let alone the month and the day. Needless to say, this was very frustrating, and I just didn't know what else to do. Thankfully, next year, things changed. For the better, of course. The district finally got Clever. Now, before we get started into the session today, we're going to watch this quick video about Clever and some of its features.
Well, hello there, and welcome to Clever. I'm Lex, and I'm going to give you a walkthrough of what Clever is, why teachers love it, and some of our top teacher features. Picture this. You have 25 students in your middle school ELA class. You've prepped an amazing lesson that uses several EdTech programs or apps. As students go to log in, you see one hand go up, then another, and another. Students can't remember their various usernames for different programs. Oh, and you have 2 new students today who don't even have accounts yet. Sounds like a nightmare, right? Sadly, for too many teachers, that's the reality of trying to use EdTech in their classrooms. We know that you come to school to build relationships with students and educate them, not to focus on tech support. That's where Clever comes in. Clever works with your district's Student Information System, or SIS, to automatically roster students into your EdTech programs. For example, if you have 5 math sections in your school's SIS, like PowerSchool, then those 5 math sections will be shared with Clever, which sends the sections to your math programs. If a student is added to your roster in your SIS, that student is automatically added to your EdTech programs. Same for when a student leaves your class or you get new classes in the fall. What's even better
is that you and your students can use Clever to sign into your apps. Instead of trying to remember various logins and passwords, just click the app's icon in Clever and voila, you're automatically signed in. This is called Single Sign-On or SSO. Using Clever's SSO is easy and it comes with extra benefits. For example, when students log in with Clever, you can see which programs they're using in a quick glance. You can also easily troubleshoot sign-in issues for students in the moment by logging them in if they're having trouble. That's simply not possible with other SSO options. And there's more. Here are additional ways Clever can be useful to teachers. Sending students and guardians messages directly in Clever, launching applications for an entire class or logging them out, using Clever Library to find new free and paid resources for your students with honest reviews from teachers like you. Creating a teacher page to organize programs for your students, along with links and PDFs. As former educators, we know these tools can save you lots of time, and many other teachers agree. In fact, Clever is the most widely used single sign-on portal in the US. To get going with Clever, we recommend checking out Clever Academy if you haven't already. You can access it in your Clever account or by going to clever.academy. Schools work better with Clever, and we bet your classroom can too.
All right, that was such a fun video. I hope you all liked the video, and we're going to share the link also. Now, today we're going to talk about a couple of things. The first thing is we're excited to share how Clever is available worldwide. The next thing, we're going to share what exactly is Clever, how to manage collaborative digital classrooms through Clever, and we're going to end with next steps for teachers, whether you are already using Clever or are learning about us for the very first time. First things first, Clever is available worldwide. Did you know that Clever is already being used by schools across 50 countries today? Clever is easy to use for both big and small schools. It provides fast and easy logins into all of your beloved applications, such as Google Classroom, Seesaw, Lexia, and more. You also get to see all the resources you need in one place. As we continue expanding to serve schools and reduce logging issues for your class across the world, let your IT admin know about Clever so that they can get started with Clever today. Now, if you already use Clever, you're in good company. Did you know that 75% of the US K-12 schools, plus over 1,400 schools outside of the US, use Clever already? That's a lot of schools, y'all. Now, before we even jump into the features that we have in Clever, some of you might be wondering, well, what is Clever, Jen? As you have watched in the video, Clever is a single, friendly way for teachers and students to get secure access to everything they need for digital learning, devices, applications, ebooks, or any digital resource. One of our most popular features is a single sign-on. What is that? Now, similar to the story I shared at the beginning, this saved time completely when we first got Clever. What happens is first, students sign into Clever using a username and a password or a Clever badge, one of my favorite features when I was a teacher. Second, any application your schools have added to Clever is logged in with just a click. Again, life changer. We connect with hundreds of learning applications. No more remembering usernames and passwords for you or your students. Better yet, Clever is compatible with any other tool you use, like a learning module system such as Canvas or any other portal. Now let's see Clever badges in action. Pretty cool, right? Also very fast. Another one of our Clever features is Clever rostering. Your class rosters are automatically and securely shared with applications, so your classes are always up to date. If a student is added or removed from your classes are automatically updated. How does that work? So your school's SIS, Student Information System, shares your classes with Clever. And then we send those classes to the apps you and your students use. Whenever a new student is added to your SIS, they're automatically added to your EdTech programs. Yep, no more sharing codes or manually adding and removing students every time your rosters change. Best of all, both of these key services, SSO and rostering, are free for schools. Now let's take a look at one of the many tools for teachers that Clever has to offer. Teacher Pages, one of my favorite tools back when I was a teacher. Very, very cool feature. You can use Teacher Pages to build your personalized digital classrooms in Clever. Think of a teacher as a home base for your class digital resources like applications, links, and PDFs. You have literally any resource like today's math assignment, your syllabus. Sometimes you can even add your district's form to request tech help. I love linking Google Classroom assignments within my teacher page so students have easy access to our most important work, especially with first graders. Plus, you can even show off your teacher personality on your page with a fun icon, emojis, and a title personalized for your class. Now let's see a demo account in the wild. I will go ahead and show you all what a teacher page looks like. As you can see here, this is what the district page would have. Now, the teacher pages would be on the dashboard in your Clever portal, and we're going to take a look at Mr. Emmerd's science class. As you can see, we have different categories. So the first one is Students of the Week. You can nominate a Student of the Week. We have a link for that. Then we have another category looking at Unit 7. You can organize the categories based on relevance or which one's the most important one. The next one, Unit 6, Review Resources. And lastly, you can share at the very bottom homework assignments or homework support. As you can see here, for Unit 7, we have Kahoot. Of course, we have Kahoot, one of the applications already integrated in this teacher page. Now, if I were to select the Kahoot application, as you can see, Kahoot automatically opens, and I am taken straight into my account. This is really cool. If your district or school isn't using Clever yet, and you're interested in using the tools you saw today, share this link with your school's IT team so that they can sign up to learn more. Now, if you have any questions or you need support, please contact us at support.clever.com. Thank you for joining. We hope you enjoy the rest of this awesome Kahoot meetup. We are excited to see you at future events as we continue to partner with Kahoot and make it easier for teachers to use Kahoot and Clever together. Bye, y'all.
Thank you so much, Jen. And as I'm sure all teachers and educators can attest to, equipping students with technology and doing it right in equipping students with technology doesn't really have to be complicated, and Clever really helps to make that possible. So thanks, Jen, and thanks, Clever, for sharing those ins and outs on what the teacher portal might look like. Once students have access to that technology, harboring ways to use tech tools strategically is still pretty important. And we know and we hope that Kahoot game modes really help you and your students to do just that, foster that excitement, that community, and ultimately student retention and attention. Gina Ruffcorn, one of our all-star Kahoot ambassadors, has taken a deep dive with all of the new game modes on Kahoot and helped to really flesh out which formats and player experiences support different learning and leadership styles. I'm sure we can all agree that the more impactful the learning experience, the better the experience. I cannot wait to hear all of your expert advice, Gina. Welcome to the stage. Welcome back, should I say. We're so glad you're here.
Hello, everybody. Good to see all of you. And I'm looking forward to talking about how Kahoot game modes can help your children and your students in your classroom develop their leadership potential, because we all know that providing opportunities for students to develop leadership qualities is vital for their success in school and their life and in their futures. So if somebody will load my Kahoot, we'll do a little playing and we'll do a little discussing, and we'll learn about some leadership potential. Let's just go classic mode this morning. There we go. All right, folks. There will be swag, I'm certain, offered for winners. So play your hearts out here, and we'll do a little learning And we'll do a little playing at the same time, which is my favorite form of educating children. So we'll let everybody get logged in. I love the little character things. I think they're so cool. It gives just a little something different to things. Woo! Lots of folks. I'm so excited to be here during Meetup. There have been so many cool things. The Clever thing in front of me was amazing. It is so fabulous. Just have that one login. Woo! Can't do much better than that. And for those of you who were watching yesterday, there was a ton of amazing information shared yesterday. You folks can cap this off wherever you want to. I don't know what our full capacity is for managing through here. So whenever the people who are controlling stuff think that we're good, we'll get started. Woo, there we go. And so let's talk about some inspiring leadership with game modes for students. My kids this year have been completely into the game modes. There's my classroom, and there's a handful of my kids, and always playing Kahoot. Somebody asked the other day how often I do this, and I'm like, I don't know. I've never counted. We do it a lot. It's one of my favorite all-time platforms. So let's advance this screen and get rolling. And I know that everybody has heard this quote that good leaders are born. I really choose to believe that good leaders are made due to their experiences and their personal growth and tons of Kahoots. So on we go. Let's do a little word cloud this morning. All right, everybody out there, what qualities make a good leader? Give me some answers. Let's see what you got. I've got some ideas in my head, but let's see what you guys think this morning. Get a little interactive. What qualities make a good leader in a student? I know I have got a handful of things that I've got jotted down, but I hate to give mine away in case you guys have better ideas out there. So let's see what folks come up with. What qualities do you look for in your students that make a good leader? Woo! Oh, passion. I didn't have passion or confidence. You guys are fabulous. Look at that. Initiative, kindness. Woo! Flexibility. Love the flexibility. Understanding, trustworthiness. You guys are absolutely killer. Those are amazing. And let me share with you what I had down for leadership qualities that I look for in my classroom. Somebody that works hard, makes really good decisions, has some resiliency, so much on the resiliency aspect. Somebody who listens and communicates well, has positivity and fairness, and gets along and works well with others. And fortunately, every one of those skills and many of the ones that you guys listed can be developed using some game modes from Kahoot. So let's talk about how. Tallest Tower, the big monkey game. I've got them listed for you, the qualities of leadership that Tallest Tower can bring out. And in my classroom, here is how my kids showed their leadership qualities during this game. As they were forming their teams and coming together, you could really hear them talking to each other and emotionally supporting each other while they were answering their questions and helping one another. So that way their towers could get bigger than everybody else's. So Tallest Tower, fabulous for resiliency. Once that monkey wipes your tower out, you're pretty much done. Or communicating with the team, positive attitude as you build your tower back up. So all of those leadership qualities can be easily fostered playing Tallest Tower. And then we go on to Color Kingdoms. Color Kingdoms to me is fabulous because it is so collaborative amongst the kids in the class as they answer their questions, and then they try to block off other people's advancements so their kingdom grows larger than everyone else's. So that strategic decision making that I think is really part of leadership, especially for my fifth graders, is very, very active during any type of color kingdom activity, along with the kind treatment of others. Once you have vanquished their kingdom and yours has taken over, that ability to lose gracefully and be kind about things on the winning side is something that's very important to our SEL in my classroom. Chill art. I like to use chill art towards the end of the day just to kind of wind things down a little bit. And because my kids are really artistic kids, and they've always, fifth graders, especially in my opinion, have always enjoyed the ability to be able to create things. And that teamwork and communication and the positive collaboration in chill art, along with the laid back atmosphere of a chill art activity, has done wonders for the end of our day. We like to wind up our day doing some chill art together. Treasure Trove. I personally am a huge fan of Treasure Trove. Treasure Trove is one of the ones that will develop more of your independent leadership styles because it is an independent worker game. And it will work on that resiliency. If you've got a student that needs a little resiliency practice maybe, or needs some quicker reflexes when it comes to decision making, and needs maybe a little practice in the respectful treatment of classmates, Treasure Trove will do that for them because it is just an independent player game, but it is so cool. I love being able to capture the little objects as they slide across the sky. Submarine Squad. This is probably the very favorite game of all in my fifth grade classroom, and we have worked tirelessly to try and beat this big pink shark thing. So as far as leadership skills, I put this one last for a reason, because I am a firm believer that Submarine Squad will make leaders out of kids that you didn't normally think would be interested or hadn't really shown any leadership skills before. I know the part that I love the most is after you've beat a level and then the names pop up and everybody has to sit still and listen while the objects are described, has made leaders out of some of my students that I would not have normally seen in a leadership position until we launched into some Submarine Squad. I had one little girl who was so incredibly quiet all year long, and she hardly said anything, but she had incredible potential. And man, when her name came up for Submarine Squad, she was large and in charge. So this one, to me, is by far the best out of them all, is my personal favorite, because each student can grow and lead in their own way, and Kahoot game modes will empower those leadership abilities in all of your students. Guaranteed. I have seen it happen in my room. All right, let's Kahoot. Everybody ready? There are a handful of questions in here that should be very easy for y'all to answer. Game modes are great for what? Developing listening skills, building some resiliency, learning to work in a team, improving communication. What do you think? I believe this is a multi-select, so don't just choose one, kids. Make sure you're picking a bunch. See what everybody thinks. There's that Submarine Squad again. Lots of folks answering correctly. Congratulations, everybody. Let's see us a leaderboard. Catherine in first place. Congratulations, Catherine. And here we are. Next question, please. Oh, this is a true or false. Oh, for double points. Games can bring out leadership abilities in students who may not usually choose leadership roles. True or false? I know what my answer is, but I created it, so that's kind of cheating. And overwhelmingly true answer. Think about that little girl in my room. She really was not very leadership oriented until she had an opportunity. Aurora has taken over the lead. Congratulations, Aurora. Catherine, where did you go? All right, here we go. Ooh, this is a puzzle. Everybody knows how much I love puzzles. Finish your sentence by putting the words in correct order. Game modes allow all. I am a big fan of puzzles. Anytime that they need just that little extra motion or just that little extra concentration to put things in the correct order, huge fan of puzzles. So, game modes allow everybody to do what? Everybody's clicking in. Game modes can be great for a ton of things, but the leadership piece, I think, is probably one of the most important. I mean, we all want them to practice and we all want them to learn and we want to review and we want our students to grow. But I would really like my kids to be leaders. And I really think that the game modes have done an amazing job in bringing those leadership skills out, because game modes allow all students an opportunity to lead. Yes, they do. And we'll shift. Aurora still in the lead. Up 84 places, Marcos is the highest climber. Well, congratulations, Marcos. Ooh, this is a type your answer. Double points for having to type your answer. Listening and communication are especially important in which mode? Okay, this one is the one that is in my favorite mode. So if you were listening during the session, you will know that there is one game in particular that is the favorite in my classroom. And it is the one I think that fosters the best listening and communication skills. And I will go as far as to say, no matter how hard we tried, we could not beat it. And we tried and tried all year this year to beat that mode. And the answer will be revealed in a few seconds. Here is a picture of one of the objects that the kids have to be able to explain or describe to the others in the classroom in order for everybody to get passed on to the next level. If you have never played this game, you should be figuring out a way to get it into your lesson plans and onto your students' computers ASAP. And the answer is Submarine Squad. Man, we spent a lot of time trying to whoop that shark, and we could never get it. But boy, we put in some fabulous effort. We'll take some submarine modes. Yep, anything that looks submarine-y, we're in for that. The Submarine Squad, that one is absolutely amazing. My very favorite, other than puzzles. Woo, lots of people. And Miss M is now in the lead and Aurora has dropped off. But I do have 104 people who've reached an answer streak of 4 in a row, which is absolutely fabulous. And next question. Which game mode focuses more on goal-oriented, independent qualities? I'll let you pick the one that you think is the one that features the independent piece of the game modes from Kahoot. All of them have got a little independence to them, but this one in particular, the picture's being revealed on, because I love some picture reveal, does probably the most for independent skills. Let's see what our leaderboard looks like. Whoop. There was our leaderboard. Well, congratulations, Miss M. I am certain there should be some swag involved somewhere. It's really important, folks, in my opinion, to accent those leadership qualities in your kids and provide those opportunities for your students to become great leaders using those game modes from Kahoot. And if you can beat that shark in Submarine Squad, please be sure to let me know, because we have not been able to do this yet. So thanks for your time. I hope everybody had a great experience learning about some leadership skills, and have a lovely rest of your summit.
Thanks so much, Gina. I feel like I speak for the rest of our educators and audience joining. Challenge accepted to find the big hungry fish. Thank you so much for sharing how really just one platform like Kahoot can be spun into so many different formats and experiences, supporting the so many different personalities and personas in the classroom. Thank you, Gina.
You're very welcome. Have a great rest of the summit, folks.
Fast forwarding just a few years from Gina's elementary point of view and moving into a high school or even post-secondary perspective, we're channeling the Gen Z generation for this next session with Intuit. Tamor from Intuit is here to share how addressing the emotional needs and interests of our students really helps us to relate to their bigger picture experiences and troubleshooting, maybe their hopes and dreams, or even their financial goals. Welcome, Tamor. We're so glad you're here.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much. Thank you, Kahoot team, for having me. I will just say, watching the sessions today, I am invigorated. Especially the last one, I'm down to trying Submarine Squad. I'm ready for it. And especially hearing about Clever's expansion and the game-changing efforts from you all at Kahoot and Clever. So really looking forward to this session that I'm about to speak about, which is on financial education and financial literacy for young people. So we can get our Kahoot up and ready and we can get started. Yeah. And I would love for you all to participate in our questions here. What we're going to be talking about is about financial literacy in the classroom, right? And I want to know where you all come from in terms of financial education, right? Where you come from in financial literacy. It's really important for Intuit, so the company that I'm representing, that we're making financial literacy accessible to everyone and using the financial tools that we have, TurboTax, QuickBooks, Mint, Credit Karma, MailChimp, to translate them to education versions of those resources for free for teachers to use, so that when we're talking about financial literacy, we're also using a real-world application of those tools. Great, let's start. Love this Kahoot presentation. So we already got signed into Kahoots. This is my face. This is definitely a picture a mother would love. As you can see now, I've joined into it and become a bit wild, but it's just reflecting my energy and passion for financial literacy. And coming from corporate responsibility, everything we do is free, okay? Everything we offer to teachers and students is free of charge. So when you think about signing up or joining our resources, know that all we're trying to do is make a world a more financially prosperous place and improve the financial wellness of young people. So let's go ahead. What I want to talk about today is something really exciting. So we've been at Intuit Corporate Responsibility working on financial education for a number of years now, but for this back to school, we're developing something totally different, a new financial literacy learning app for teachers to use in the classroom for their students. So let's go ahead and move forward. Yeah, I'm gonna put the form out here right away. You can sign in the QR code to sign up and be one of the first teachers to get a sneak peek of the financial literacy app. And I'm gonna share with you through this presentation what that looks like. Okay, so first subject, what do you teach? So this is back to the Kahoot the Kahoot. To get your answers, let's talk about what subjects you teach. Cool. This is a word cloud. So we're not doing a formal quiz here. It's whatever answers authentic and honest to you. Which subjects do you teach? Well, this is your financial literacy journey, so we'll start there. I know my financial literacy journey. My first job was at Panera. So if any of you are stateside, by the way, Panera Bread is like a cafe that serves sandwiches, soup, salads, and I was a dishwasher. My first paycheck was $74. My mother told me, save that for college. I was like, what is this going to do for college? I'm going to spend it on food and movie tickets. That's what I'm going to do. Now, some of you are asking about the QR code. We'll share it again at the end of the presentation too. But I want to hear about your financial literacy journey. Write it out. Tell us what you've experienced, how you have navigated your finances and how you've learned finances. I know a lot of us have also wished that we learned financial education when we were younger in high school or middle school. And this is a time to kind of express that. Let's go some of these answers. Great, math, English. So these are subjects, okay. Great, some math, English, social science, wonderful. Took a class, French language, good. Work in retail, great. Some great answers here. Thank you. Let's go ahead. So which grades do you teach? Let's go to the Kahoot presentation. Which grades do you teach? Let's see the question here. Yeah, which grades do you teach or support? Which grades do you teach or support? I actually, before I joined into it, I was a teacher overseas. I taught entrepreneurship to young people overseas for a couple of years. Yeah. But wow, the work that teachers have to do now, especially during the pandemic, after the pandemic, I know students the way that students learn now is completely different than they learned a few years ago. And activities like Kahoot really helps with that engagement. Wonderful, yeah. Let's go ahead to the next. I want to see some of these answers. Yeah, which grades do you teach or support? All across the board, high school, middle school, K through 12. I know teachers, you all teach multiple grades, right? That's impressive. If you teach middle school, honestly, kudos to you. That's impressive too. Let's keep going. Okay, and which states are you calling from? I'm from Virginia, so that's why that spotlight is there. If you're from Virginia, give me a shout out. Virginia, DC, Maryland. Let's go to the game. Texas, I see Texas here. Tennessee, Arizona. Amazing. Let's see what representation we have in this call. Let's do it. I know we got some overseas. Yeah, Egypt, Spain. I love it. Wonderful. Let's see what we have. Let's see where people are calling from. Where are you joining from? Costa Rica, Nevada, Texas, South Carolina, the Netherlands. I love it. Virginia. All right, let's go see the results. Let's see where the results come from. Wow, Florida, Texas, California. You all are representing on this call. I love it. Let's keep going. Okay, so now here you can share your financial literacy journey. So I shared mine. Let's go into the Kahoot. Let's share yours. So what is your financial literacy journey? Let's write it out. Tell us like your first experience with a paycheck, your first experience with money, what you did with that first paycheck, how you learned finances and money the hard way, right? This is a safe space here, guys. This is a safe space. I know I always appreciate authenticity and honesty with our students that we work with. We're not trying to sugarcoat anything to them. I know what they're experiencing is very challenging, especially when you think about like the jobs that we have today. It's going to change the jobs for next week, next month, next year, and it's really hard to prepare for that. So the importance from Intuit side is how we can at least build those core skills, financial education skills, to get them ready for anything. Okay, let's go see some of these answers. Let's go ahead. Great. Let's see. They're not balancing, compulsive. Oh, babysitting, college credit, still learning. Yeah, still learning. I really like this answer because no matter if you have all those resources and information, it's still a learning process, right? Because things happen, life happens, right? We all know that. Like we didn't expect this inflation, right? We didn't prepare for this. So we have to adapt. We have to be ready to adapt. Let's keep going. Okay. Let's go to the next slide and talk about young people versus money. So what we've seen in our study is that Intuit as Gen Z places a high value in financial wellness, right? And this informs how we cater financial education to young people. So they focus a lot on financial wellness, and that's how we've adapted our resources. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah, and financial literacy education. So the current problem that we're seeing in the landscape, this is US based at least, but I know a lot of this applies worldwide, is that states have mandates for financial literacy. They're adopting it more, and for good cause. We want people to, you want people to be financially prepared for the future. But many of those states do not give teachers the resources to be able to integrate that now new mandate into their classroom, right? Because a lot of teachers have already so many things going on. How can we make it easier for them? And a big point here is that young people in low-income zip codes have less of a chance to take financial literacy courses. So the cycle of poverty, the cycle of challenges just continues to persist. Let's go to the next slide. So Intuit believes all students, no matter their zip code, deserves to be financially literate. So let's talk about how we can do that and what we're going to offer to teachers. So our solution is Intuit for Education. Three things we're bringing here for this application. It's a real world application. So we're bringing Intuit's tools that people use right now and making simulated versions of those tools for teachers to teach financial literacy in. We're having our own content and curriculum. So that's helping teachers pick and choose which content they want to use in their classroom. And we're providing games. Kahoot is a huge one in that respect. Let's go to the next slide. So this is a little bit of a sneak peek of some of what that application will look like. It's coming back to school this fall, and just calling out the financial literacy resources using real world tools and engaging students with enhanced learning opportunities. Let's go to the next slide. So you all want to see some details here. These are some of the topics that we're covering. So as you can see, it crosses a lot of different financial literacy topics, some things to call out: paying for college, career planning, economics, entrepreneurship, finance. We know young people are very into their entrepreneurial ventures. So we're trying to help you meet the moment for the students where they're at. And these are some of the great opportunities we have for educators, including webinars, live training, PD opportunities, and so much more. And it's a free resource. All of this is going to be for free for teachers. Let's go to the next slide. So what now? How do we gain this, right? Let's show the campaign we have. The first 2,000 educators to get on this on our financial literacy application. So that's what we're moving towards for back to school. You'll be one of the first teachers to be able to get into the financial literacy application from Intuit for Education and start using it for your students, right? In this fall. So let's go to the form. This is the form that we're sharing with all of you. We're going to send you an update on which trainings that you can attend from Intuit, give you a sneak peek, a demo of the financial literacy application when it's ready, share with you some of the games from Kahoot that we're creating so you can bring it into the classroom on each topic of financial literacy that we have. So it's really an exciting time here at Intuit, and we're very happy and fortunate to be able to support teachers and able to bring in this program for you all this year.
Thank you so much, Tamar. And I'm seeing a few comments in the chat, just noticing that the Google form shared with the QR link needs permissions, and we'll totally resolve that in the background. We'll get in touch with all of the participants today. Anyone who registered for our Kahoot EDU Summit will have access to these resources and links to the on-demand recording post-event. So we'll be sure behind the scenes we're resolved ahead of time. We definitely want to hear from you. And if you'd like to be part of that Intuit 2000 teacher campaign, we'll update you with the link and you'll have clear access, no problem. Thank you so much for joining us, Tamar. We appreciate you sharing insight on all things financial literacy.
Thank you. Should be ready now. So the form is now live. Thank you.
Fabulous. Awesome. And financial literacy might feel like adulting, but we are really ready to channel our inner child and inner children now with our next special guest from Disney's Imagination Campus. Welcome, Judy, all the way from Walt Disney World in Orlando, Florida. It's good to have you here. Video, Beth. All right, we're going to get our video started here. Go ahead, Beth.
solving, we encourage students to look beyond what is and ask, what if? Because here, we value the entire creative process, from imagination to all of the innovation that it inspires. In collaboration with teachers, we're introducing students to something we call imagination-powered learning. So from science to humanities to leadership and to the performing arts, we can help students discover the power of creativity in action so they can realize their potential to do amazing things. Disney Imagination Campus.
Today, we are so excited to introduce to you Disney Imagination Campus. But first, a little bit about who we are. At Disney Imagination Campus, we believe in imagination-powered learning to bring immersive, hands-on experiences to life. We allow students to learn in-demand skills, build self-confidence, and prepare themselves for real-world challenges. We're passionate about empowering students and unleashing their creativity in the most magical ways possible. Hello, everyone. I'm Judy from Disney Imagination Campus, and I'll be your host today, along with Allie and Beth, who are behind the scenes to help support our technology. Thank you so much for joining us and for joining Kahoot today. We are excited to bring you the magic of Disney Imagination Campus. Let's talk about what we'll cover today. I'll start by sharing an overview of Disney Imagination Campus, sharing about our workshops and experiences. Then I'll take just a few minutes to discuss some interesting data points about the impact that student travel has on student learning and development. And after that, I'm going to take you out of your living rooms, kitchens, or wherever you're viewing this education summit from. And as we like to say at Disney, I'm going to auto-magically transport you to Walt Disney World Resort in Florida to inspire and empower you with a preview of one of our workshops. We do want to point out that the videos and imagery and some of our illustrations we'll be sharing today were previously recorded, so they may not represent current offerings, operational guidelines, or health and safety measures. All right, then, are you ready? Let's get started. At Disney Imagination Campus, we offer workshops and experiences for students to learn unique skills that apply not only in the classroom, but also in the real world. We have campuses both at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida and Disneyland Resort in California. Our goal is really to inspire and empower the holistic student through our content pillars and leadership and innovation, science and technology, arts and humanities, and performing arts. Part of what makes our workshops so impactful is that we make use of Disney theme parks as a living laboratory. We use this to challenge students to see the lessons they're learning in their classroom and apply them to the real world. For example, students with us can learn physics by studying an attraction like Rock and Roller Coaster, or they can learn dance skills from real Disney performers. During our workshops, students get to explore our theme parks, right? That's tons of fun. But they also get a chance to go to some pretty cool backstage locations not available to other guests. Places like our performance facilities and recording studios, and even backstage classrooms where students can do things like build their own roller coaster or design their own theme park. With Imagination Campus, your students can even march down Main Street, USA with their band. They get to work with real professional performers, sight read music that's recorded and then played alongside Disney film footage. And students do get to meet and talk with Disney leaders that work in our theme parks every day. A few exclusive offerings at Walt Disney World Resort in Florida. Every spring, we host Festival Disney. It's a competitive music festival for performing arts students. And at Disneyland Resort in California, high school graduates can celebrate at Grad Night. No matter what workshop your students experience, they're also learning applicable skills like critical thinking, problem solving, collaboration, and imaginative design that apply in and out of the classroom. One of the most important parts of our workshops is the fact that students get hands-on opportunities to build, learn, and play in our theme park. It's truly experiential learning in action. Now, to add to our learning with Disney Imagination Campus, you can always check out our profile on Kahoot. We have over 50 fun learning activities that you can use in your classroom to teach science, leadership, storytelling, performing arts, more. And we also have a lot that are really just a lot of fun. We incorporate Disney magic with educational concepts that bring imagination power to life for everyone. We also have Kahoots. We generally put up a new one once a month, and we'll be celebrating the 4th of July here in the United States. So we have an American history Kahoot that we've put up within the last week or so. A couple common questions we get, so I want to go ahead and address those as we move on here, is who can participate in a Disney Imagination Campus program or workshop? The most important part is that you come as part of a group or youth group, so a student group or youth groups. Oftentimes, this is organized by an elementary, middle, or high school teacher. We have college professors who bring their university students, and we offer this at both Disneyland in California and Walt Disney World in Florida. But you don't have to be a part of a school or university group. We also get a lot of sports teams, church groups, Boy Scouts, Girls group, Boy Scouts and Girl Scout type groups who bring their students. And we do host both students and youth groups from the United States, as well as international groups at our 2 Disney campus locations. We know that being a teacher is more than a full-time job, and we are so thankful for the hard work and dedication that you offer your students. We also understand that becoming a traveling teacher may seem a little daunting, but it's definitely rewarding. I want to reference some important data from SIDA, that's the Student Youth Travel Association, who reported on some of the leading social impacts of student travel for youth. It's clear from their research that there is a profound social impact when students travel beyond their day-to-day environments, in addition to an increased desire to travel, increased collaboration, and increased self-expression. Teachers oftentimes recognize the value of student travel. In the US, 79% of teachers plan student travel as they consider it a priority to increase cultural awareness of their students. 74% of teachers believe travel has a positive impact on a student's personal development. And last, 56% of teachers believe travel has a very positive impact on a student's education and future career. Again, skills like creativity, critical thinking, imagination, and leadership are skills that educators and professionals recognize as vital to prepare students for their futures. Student travel does present unique opportunities for students to be challenged in ways not always possible in the classroom. Now for a little bit of fun. I want to share a sample of one of our Arts and Humanities workshop to inspire you. Let's watch a quick video so you can learn more about what this workshop offers.
Disney Imagineers use the elements of storytelling to create immersive environments that bring stories to life. At Disney Imagination Campus, students in the Immersive Storytelling Workshop engage in hands-on design. Students explore our theme parks and learn the importance of collaboration in crafting a story. Disney Imagination Campus gives students the tools to build their own story through imagination-powered learning.
We know how important learning objectives are for teachers when developing your lesson plans. So each of our workshop does have key learning objectives that can be relevant across multiple subject areas to help build upon your classroom core standards. In our immersive storytelling workshop, these objectives can apply to students in performing arts, English, social studies, and more. So before we start with our sample content, I want to show you a quick video of one of our CAST facilitators, Rose, as she shares her experience with immersive storytelling.
Hi, my name is Rose. I'm one of the guest talent coordinators here at Disney Imagination Campus. Holiday Studios is going to be our classroom today as we get to step into the shoes of an Imagineer. Walt Disney, he knew with great stories, they have the ability to change people's lives and feel certain emotions. At the end of this workshop, your goal is to work together as a group and create your own theme land. One thing that I really love about my job is that I get to meet so many students all over the world, and what they learned in school can be applied in unique ways here at Disney, and they build that connection here with us.
Rose is so delightful. If you ever get a chance to watch her facilitate, she's amazing. Now, to address another secondary question, I often get asked what makes Imagination Campus so special. It's an easy answer. Without a doubt, that's our cast members like Rose and Beth and Allie that are with us today, because we all share a passion for teaching students and supporting teachers. Now, this isn't what I normally do, but today I'm going to be your substitute facilitator. I know a lot of you are teachers and administrators, but I'm going to ask you to put on your student hat right now. So if you have a Disney hat, feel free to put it on. And we're going to go through a quick sample so you can understand what it's like to learn in a theme park environment. Are you ready? All right. Good day, everyone. Welcome to Disney's Hollywood Studios and Disney Imagination Campus Immersive Storytelling Workshop. My name's Judy, and I'll be your host today. Storytelling is at the foundation of our company. Walt had a desire to create a place where his stories could come to life, resulting in the birth of the theme park. I want you to take a moment to consider this question. What's the difference between traditional storytelling and immersive storytelling? And feel free to put the notes in the chat. I'm watching along on the YouTube channel here. So what's the difference between traditional storytelling and immersive storytelling? A lot of the common answers we get is traditional storytelling is linear versus immersive storytelling is a different path in the story. The difference between being told a story singularly versus being a part of the story. And immersive storytelling is more than just watching, it's experiencing fully. So immersive storytelling for Disney are ways in which elements or details appeal and engage to all five senses. The Disney theme parks were created to tell stories, to drop people directly into the action. Our Imagineers use their storytelling skills to build immersive environments and make sure detail is created with purposeful intent. Okay, students, today I chose to take us to a galaxy far, far away to examine how storytelling skills can be used to build an immersive environment. We're going to now auto-magically transport you to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. As you watch, try to think about what story is being told here and what details you notice that appeal to your senses. Now note, there's no sound on this video as we want you to focus on the detail. Beth, let's go ahead and play that video. So I want you to notice what helps tell the story of this land. What details do you notice that appeal to your senses? Emma's pointing out, right, that you're a part of the story rather than just following along. Thank you so much, Emma. Awesome. And a few of you are mentioning the colors. Absolutely, the colors and the architecture. Okay, last name Cooper is talking about the roofs and the towers. Vivian, thank you for the colors and textures. Dom loves Star Wars, right? He can see the costumes, and Eugenia's noticing the architecture. Now, good job, everyone. We have just a minute or two left, and we're going to take you quickly through to wrap up. Now, this land is designed to be an environmental story with every element down to the smallest detail supporting the story that we're telling. Now, when designing theme parks, Disney Imagineers try to follow three principles of the storytelling. First is we want to transport you from the real world into a pretend. We want to inspire you to participate, to feel something, to experience a different feeling than what you'd normally get. And last, we want to entertain you. We want people to enjoy themselves and create a place where they can come and play. Our lands transform the experience into an entire environment where you are the director of the story. Now, let's build very quickly. This is only 30 more seconds of this lesson for that first lesson into Walt's 4 levels of details. So the first is setting the stage. This can be seen by looking at an aerial image or even at a map, a park map. The second establishes location where you can narrow down your view to just the land you're in, right? You know, you can look 360 and you're fully immersed in Blackspire Outpost. Third includes visual elements that you can make out the buildings and the land you're walking through. And fourth is the sensory elements. Sensory elements are things that you can touch and feel, even an attraction like Smuggler's Run that you might be able to ride. Now, our Imagineers, when they built this land, worked directly with those responsible for the Star Wars films so that they could create a true immersive land for our guests. To do this, they created mood boards, concept art, and costumes to help plan what the land might be. Now, as a student in this workshop, you're going to get the opportunity to go backstage in an interactive classroom, and you're going to work on a team as you create your own mood board and design an immersive story for your own themed land. Awesome job, everyone. Take off those student hats. As you can see, this workshop, and it's just a small sampling, is really applicable to students in multiple areas of discipline. I know as a professional, I'm inspired by it when I think about the storytelling that happens every day as part of business, and what your students might do in English, history, theater, musical arts, and on and on. We really want to make sure that we're providing imagination-powered learning in action through the eyes of our students. Now, these workshops prepare students for their future careers. Again, problem solving, critical thinking, preparing students to be real world thinkers, doers, and leaders is so important to Disney Imagination Campus. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with us today. We recognize and appreciate what you do as teachers to inspire our next generation. Being a traveling teacher, I know, is exciting and can be a little daunting, but I want you to know myself and my fellow cast members at Disney Imagination Campus are here to help you. I want to encourage you to stay connected with our content, where we strive to inspire, inform, and empower you with content to help you each day. If you're interested in learning more about our workshops, we're going to go ahead and drop a link into the YouTube chat right now, and you can contact us directly for questions or additional support. Now, on behalf of myself and the entire Disney Imagination Campus team at Walt Disney World in Florida and Disneyland Resort in California, thank you to those from all around the world who are watching us today, and special thank you to our friends at Kahoot for inviting us to participate. We'll leave you with some words of wisdom from our founder, Walt Disney. Just like he inspires us, you inspire your students to be the very best version of themselves and reach beyond what they thought was possible. We'll see you real soon.
I was stumped one day when a little boy asked, "Do you draw Mickey Mouse?" And I had to admit I do not draw anymore. Well, then you think of all the jokes and ideas. No, I said, I don't do that. Finally, he looked at me and said, "Mr. Disney, just what do you do?" Well, I said, sometimes I think of myself as a little bee. I go from one area of the studio to another and gather pollen and sort of stimulate everybody. I guess that's the job I do.
Awesome. Thank you, Judy, and thank you, Disney Imagination Campus team, for sharing all the ways that our learners and our leaders can continue to feel empowered by their imagination. So much fun conversation in the chat, sharing about how exciting it is to be teleported or auto-magically transported over to Walt Disney World. So thank you for sharing that experience with us, and so glad to be a part of all the learning that's happening both in imagination and in real life here on Kahoot. Organizations like Disney Imagination Campus and Intuit with Tamar are both part of our brands community on Kahoot, and we so enjoy collaborating to convey these brand goals via Kahoot tools. So if that is something that you are interested in connecting on or are part of an organization that would love to be featured on Kahoot, definitely get in touch with our team. We'd love to collaborate and continue working together. Just a quick revisit back to our chat. I'm wondering, so many people seem to have personal connections to the Disney parks, Disney experiences, Disney characters, and hearing this insight and intel is really a perfect icebreaker that you can ask your students too. A great way to get to know your class, whether to reflect on the year or even build community at the start. Benji is here with a few ideas on how to use and even create more of these awesome icebreakers. Welcome, Benji. Glad you're here.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Thank you so much for the whole Kahoot team for having me. And thank you so much for the whole Kahoot team for putting on this excellent event. Welcome to all of you. Good morning, good day, good afternoon, good evening from wherever in the world you are joining. I am so grateful to be here with you as we together explore using our beloved Kahoot to create instant icebreakers and build class community. Hello, friends. My name is Benji Messinger Barnes. That's Kobe. Say hi, Kobe. I am the Director of Education Technology and Teaching Innovation at the Friends Seminary School, and I am coming at you live from New York City. And I'm so excited to share some of the ways that I've leveraged Kahoot to build community in the online and in-person classroom. So first, let's set the stage. Friends, we all know how intensely relational, interpersonal, and emotional teaching and learning is. We as teachers and school leaders, before attending to our students' learning needs, must first attend to their needs of safety, belonging, and connectedness. And we know this to be true always, but nowhere was it more evident than during periods of online learning in the pandemic, when our students were feeling senses of isolation and disconnectedness that put them in no mental nor emotional state to effectively learn. And during that time, I thought to myself, what can I do? What can we do to recreate that sense of community in the online space? We needed something that was going to be low cost. It wouldn't take too much instructional time and wouldn't take too much time outside of class either. It needed to be high impact. It needed to create those senses of connectedness and belonging and community in the classroom. It needed to have an element of student ownership, and it needed to amplify student voices and experiences. So what did I come up with? Well, as the name of this session suggests, the idea of student-created, quick, fun, icebreaker activities to play each and every class to learn about each other, leveraging Kahoot. Okay, right, great in theory, but how are we actually going to make this happen? I'm so excited to share with you a workflow that I developed, which we're going to explore. And please pay attention as we explore, because after that, we're going to play a Kahoot. Of course, we're going to play a Kahoot. Here we are at the Kahoot Summit, in which I'll ask you a few questions about that workflow to see if you indeed were paying attention. So I came up with something that in 3 minutes, I kid you not, in 3 minutes, we go from 0 to game time, leveraging some tools that I'm sure many teachers and education leaders in the room with me right now have leveraged before. We start with a little Google form, an easy peasy, low stakes icebreaker question populated by the students. What's your favorite fast food? What's your favorite ice cream flavor? If you could have one superpower, what would it be? Those get populated into a Google Sheet where we do just a touch of spreadsheet magic. And for anyone out there who's thinking, I don't do spreadsheets. Spreadsheets are not my friend. I promise you, it's going to be okay. Google form, Google spreadsheet, game time. 3 minutes. Before we explore that workflow together right now, I want to share what I found after implementing this strategy. And this was the case online, and it worked so well that it continues to be the case now that we are back in person and have been for quite a while. 1, at the beginning of class, at the end of class, maybe during transition times in class, the amount of friendly banter that I hear between my students and between students who I'm not so sure they're friends outside of our class has been amazing to hear. When I walk into a classroom and I hear the students chit-chatting about one another, maybe talking about the icebreaker we played yesterday, it warms my heart. 2, during class, I'm experiencing much livelier discussions, I believe, because the students are more familiar and connected with one another. And that diversity of ideas and experiences during class discussions, I mean, that's such a rich part of the learning experience. And I think we've experienced discussions that have been less than lively, and they're not so fun. And I'm so thrilled to see that I've had much more lively experiences, livelier discussions since then. And last but not least, debate, authentic debate in which students present conflicting or divergent ideas, and they feel more comfortable to do so because they know one another and they feel a sense of connection and community. And that has been so wonderful. So that's what we've observed. I kind of gave you an overview of the workflow. It's time for us to do it. So I'm going to take you through this workflow from beginning to game time. So here we are. I'm on a little Kahoot creation page. We all know and love this interface. It's time to create some questions. Now, of course, I could create the questions one by one, manually typing in some questions and some answers, but that takes some time. And so I invite you to join me as I click on the Add Question button. I happen to be an EDU subscriber, so check out all of the question options that I have at my disposal. Woo! Love a little question bank action as well, but I'm actually going to direct you towards the import spreadsheet option. Again, if you're thinking spreadsheets are not for you, give me just a few minutes. I think they will be. All right, I click on that. I see that we've got a Kahoot template, which I am going to go ahead and download. Boom, boom, I have downloaded that Kahoot template. It is now on my local desktop. I'm going to expedite this process by showing you what it looks like after I've uploaded it to Google Drive. So here is that template that I just downloaded. It's got a space for a question. It's got a space for answer number 1, answer number 2, answer number 3, answer number 4, a time limit for that question. And then you indicate between answers 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is or are the answers. Okay, so we've got our template. We just need to populate it with actual questions and answers. So how do we do that? Kids come into class and they say, boom, today's icebreaker was presented by Sarah last class. Today's icebreaker is what's your favorite movie? I hit the kids with a Google survey and I say, you've got 60 seconds to fill this out. Again, low cost, high impact. And I have pre-filled it out as though I am a student. My name is Benji. I write my first name. I always have them write the correct answer to this survey question first. They don't need to, but it really expedites the creation process. So my correct answer, what is my favorite movie? My favorite movie is Inception. Love that movie, watched it 2 weeks ago. It gets better with every viewing, love it. And then I say, hey, put 3 incorrect answers that you think maybe your classmates might mistakenly think is your favorite movie in this case. Wedding Crashers, love that movie. Back to the Future, I mean, that's like my Saturday morning TBS special. And The Princess Bride, who doesn't love The Princess Bride? But anyway, I digress. I'm a student. I fill out this Google survey, takes me 60 seconds. I press submit, life is good. Where did it go? Where did it go? On this spreadsheet, I'll go back to my form responses tab where all of those student answers are getting populated automatically. Oh, it looks like we got a Jeff and a Hannah and a John and a Bill and a blah, 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 blah. Oh, and look, there's my response from like 5 seconds ago with my answers. Inception, Wedding Crashers, Back to the Future, and The Princess Bride. Great. So how can I quickly create the question, what is Hannah's favorite movie? What is John's favorite movie? What is Bill's favorite movie? What is Sarah's favorite movie? Quickly and effectively. Okay, this is the one element of spreadsheet magic here, friends. So if you were worried before, just stick with me. I promise it's gonna be okay. Let me expand this picture so we can see what's going on. Ooh, we got a little formula going on in this cell right here. The formula is, what is B2? Oh, what is Jeff's favorite movie? Okay, that's it. The only formula I used was this ampersand formula, which is to say, put some things together. What is student name's favorite movie? That's it. That's the extent of the magic. Quite magical, but hopefully a lot more accessible than you may have thought originally. Let's get that out of the way. Now, what does that allow me to do? It allows me to do a little copy, a little paste action, and ooh, look at that. We've got all our questions ready to go, right? So the students fill out the Google form in 60 seconds. I create those questions in what, like 2 or 3 seconds? We'll do a little copy pasting of all of these. We're gonna toss it right into the old blank Kahoot template. We've got our questions, we've got our answers, we've got our incorrect answers. We're almost done. For each of these, I make the time limit nice and short. Remember, this is going to be low cost of time during instructional time, but high impact. I'll make it 10 seconds. Our options were 5, 10, 20, 30, 60, 90, 120, or 240, up to you. And like I said before, I make the answer option answer 1 every time just to make it easy for my students to expedite the process and knowing that I can always randomize the answer choices when we actually play the Kahoot live. We'll do a little copy pasting again. We are almost ready to upload this to Kahoot and play our game. One little wonky moment coming up is I do need to download this as an XLSX file format. And so I do need to make a copy, and I'm just going to call this Kahoot EDU, and then we'll be ready to go. Kahoot EDU, life is good. We're going to download again as the XLSX format. Download that to my desktop, and check this out. I am now ready to select a file from my desktop. Where is it? Kahoot EDU. Boop. I'm going to press upload. Hopefully I get a big green check mark letting me know I did it correctly. Yes, big green check mark letting me know I did it correctly. Add questions. And here we are. We have instantly, in sub 3 minutes, gone from 0 to we have a ready to play Kahoot. I would just play start right now. Now, we're not going to play this game because it's a whole bunch of hypothetical, not real people and their favorite movies, which I would never imagine that you would know. So I'm going to stop my screen share for a moment and re-screen share momentarily a Kahoot, which will test your ability on how well you were paying attention during that workflow. Do you remember some of the salient elements, friends? So whether it's on a device, on a new window, on a new tab, on another monitor, wherever it is, I invite you to fire up this Kahoot and we'll get started shortly. Welcome, Bob. Welcome, Jay. Welcome, Brenda. Welcome, Juan. Okay, I was going to say everyone's name, but I knew that was going to be short-lived. Holy cow. We got a lot of folks here. Oh my goodness. When to begin? I don't know when to begin. Holy cow, 72, 80 people, 88, 92. Woo! All right. I hope the systems can handle this. Something tells me they can. All right, well, I'd love to wait for everyone to join. Hopefully we've got late join enabled, but I think it's probably time to fire this up. All right, couple of questions for you. Friends, do you recall from the workflow, what was the example icebreaker question used in the demonstration? I should be playing. No, if I played, I'd probably still lose, and that would be embarrassing. Just a few moments left. Let's see what the distribution is. Not bad, not bad at all. What is your favorite movie? That indeed was the example icebreaker question. Nicely done, Aurora. Woo, quick on the tapping. Question number 2, friends. What's my favorite movie? This is the only real person in the entire hypothetical Kahoot we made. And this indeed is my favorite movie. Survey says Inception. Inception, love that movie. Can't get enough of it. Onwards and upwards, friends. Ooh, Aurora holding on to that top spot. Okay, all right, I see you. Question, what Google Sheets formula did we use to create customized questions in our template spreadsheet? I'm giving you a little help. We got a little extra resource there for anyone who didn't remember. Do be careful. Do be careful. Answer. Ooh, nicely done. I thought more people were going to go for the and answer, but in fact, it is the ampersand. And is an entirely different formula. Onwards and upwards. Ooh, Aurora remains in the top spot. A mere 3 points ahead of Booney. Okay, onwards and upwards. Here we go. Here we go. We are nearly halfway there, friends. Ooh, in what format must we save our Kahoot template in order to upload it directly to Kahoot? Ooh, this is about as wonky and technical as it gets. All right, survey says, indeed, XLSX is the format that it needs to be in. Well done, everyone. I tip my digital cap to you. Here we go. Which of the following was not an option for the question time limit? There were a lot of options. This is not an option. Ooh, the distribution. Only 54 folks were correct. I hope that I got my answer correct and that I didn't make that teacher error of putting the wrong answer on a Kahoot. Alas, onwards. True or false? In order for the whole system to work in that workflow, the answer must be question number 1, or answer number 1. True or false? Indeed, it's not the case that it must be option number one, but it really help facilitate things to keep it moving quickly. We are on the business end of this Kahoot, friends. We have but 3 questions remaining. Ooh, if it didn't need to be number one, why did Benji make it number one? Because my students need the help of always knowing the answer is number one. Do I lack creativity? I hope not. To expedite the process? Or because who doesn't want to be number one? Indeed, to expedite the process, we can always randomize the order of those answers later. Onward and upward to our penultimate question here. A poll. A poll. Do you think this technique could be helpful for you and your teaching practices? Definitely. I think so, but I need some time to think on it. Maybe, but probably not. Or yeah, I don't think so. Hey, no hard feelings. It's all about what's going to work for you and your students. This happened to work for me and mine, and I'm so thrilled to share it with you. Ooh, look at those definitelys. And before we show the leaderboard, just one moment, one final slide. Friends, again, my name is Benji Messinger Barnes. I'm the Director of Education Technology and Teaching Innovation at the Friends Seminary School in New York City. Thank you so very much for being here with me today. Thank you to Hannah. Thank you to the entire Kahoot team for inviting me and for putting on this amazing, amazing event and experience. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's show the leaderboard, and I'll kick it back to you, Hannah. Maybe I tip my cap to you. Emoji smiley face person, I tip my cap to you. Golf clap for Jeannie, golf clap for Jeannie. Well done, Jeannie, well done, Jeannie. Well done to all. Thank you so much for being here with me. Thank you so much for being here with us. Hannah, I'm gonna invite you right on back, and then I'm gonna get on out of here and let the party continue.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Benji. Really knowing your students, and I mean knowing your students, goes so far. So thank you for teaching us how. I know people are really excited to follow along with your recording and really get those steps and nitty-gritty details. We appreciate you being here. It is no coincidence that our next guest is chatting on peer-to-peer relationships too, but this time in a little bit of a different format and dynamic. Welcome to the stage, Chase Chatfield, a Kahoot ambassador. We are so glad you are here. Thanks for joining.
Hey, thanks for having me. I'm Chase Chatfield. I'm from the Gulf Coast of Mississippi, and today we're going to talk about peer-to-peer review. And we get that Kahoot up and running. I'm going to use a Kahoot today to do instruction and also to provide y'all some information on how I run a peer-to-peer review in my art class. So as that gets started, for me, the reason why, like the birth of this peer-to-peer review in a Kahoot was really because, I wanted to find a way to help my reluctant participation in class. I teach middle school, so they are not short on opinions, but they don't like sharing opinions in front of other people, much like I didn't, because I assumed that everybody already knew what I knew. So if I say something, I'm going to be wrong and somebody's going to prove it. And so I wanted to find a way that was a little more helpful for my students and to get them actively communicating with each other. All right, so I want you to use one word to describe peer-to-peer review. A lot of times, for me, the answer to that question is going to be like, what is my goal on peer-to-peer review? Is it to make them just get up in front and talk and like, it's not scary to be in front of people? No, for me, it's about that constructive criticism and helping students reduce the gap between their intentions and what they created. In art, they draw things and they create and they build things, and sometimes what they're intending to do doesn't quite come out. And so this helps them do that. It also teaches students how to lead a discussion about the strengths of an art piece or the work that they did, as well as being genuinely receptive to others' input, which is going to be really, really difficult. But mostly, collaboration and supportive culture inside my classroom is the most important thing to me. If they're not scared to make some mistakes, then they are going to be willing to take some creative risks and sometimes just mash that button. All right, the biggest word up here in the red. Collaboration, yeah, getting folks to work together, and sometimes, when the teacher would say, hey, we're going to work in groups, you get that look across the classroom, and they're ready to move on with each other and get that stuff started. Being helpful, providing feedback, trusting. I see that up there. It's really good. Honesty is important, and sticking with whatever we're working with instead of just coming up with something if against that individual person or just something you just don't like about them, trying to avoid that. Those are really good answers. I like those. So peer-to-peer review is going to provide students with the opportunity to engage actively in their learning process. They'll be able to develop their analytical and communication skills and gain different perspectives on their work. It can also foster a collaborative and supportive learning environment where students learn from each other's strengths and weaknesses. Now, in order to do that, you've got to have some guidelines. And so for what I do is whenever we do a project, I create a rubric that the students are following along with to build their project. So when they end up using that to give feedback to everyone else's work, they're already familiar with it. Mainly being respectful and considerate. You're going to be focusing on the aspects of the rubric, not your opinion on that person as an individual. You want to give both positive feedback and constructive criticism. In my more difficult classes, I will do give 2 things that are good and 1 thing that needs to be fixed, so that the good is more overwhelming than the bad. You also have to offer some evidence based on the suggestions for improvement. So you can't just say, I don't like A, and not tell them why. Give them some reasons to why you feel that way. Use proper vocabulary during the discussion. Now, students will come up with their own words sometimes for different things that we do, but we want to make sure we stay academically accurate. And finally, back it with the standards that we're trying to master. We're not just getting them to talk to each other for the sake of talking, but actually trying to develop some strong leaders. All right, so in peer-to-peer review and conversations can include, if you notice, we have 6 options. So if you are a OG Kahooter, go back and check some of your Kahoots. They probably only have 4 responses. This is a great chance to update some of your older Kahoots to 6 answers and getting some more creativity going. Oh, that is just amazing. Overwhelming, really, out here talking to over 300 people. That is really cool. I'm so glad for this opportunity and sharing what we do in our classroom. That's right. We don't want to have one-sided conversations, and we don't want to have harsh assessments, even though sometimes it may feel that way. Ultimately, we want to make sure that they know that we have their best interest at heart. Aurora at the top, Miss M, Allie topping out the top 5. All right, so peer-to-peer review involves students providing constructive feedback and critique to each other's works. The climate that is created in your classroom will affect the participation level of your students. If they know they're going to get roasted with everything they say, they're not going to talk. Even the kids that choose to sit all the way in the back and the far end because it's the furthest away from your desk, will get involved if they know that what they say is going to have value, not just to their teacher, because that's important, but also to their classmates. So making sure that you have that climate in your classroom for open responses is super important. So on this next slide, I'm going to get you to type into the chat for me. All right. These are just some guidelines that I use. What are some guidelines that you've used in your classroom in order to create peer-to-peer review and to create a good environment to where kids feel safe to voice their concerns without feel like they're being judged? I want you to share some of those ideas with me. I'm going to screenshot them as they fly through. Good rules. I like that. Safe place. Glows and grows. I love that. That's right. We got some golden rules in there. There we go. Now, one thing I definitely have to be better at myself is in my classroom is that I don't have a lot of stuff on the walls because I let my kids create art and just put it up there. They know where the materials are and the resources, and they stick it up there. But I think having those things posted someplace and having them engaged in that can be very helpful. You see some elementary school teachers in there, see carousel activities, judgment-free zone. I love it. I love it. Go ahead and go to the next one. All right, so this is my process and sequence that I do. And this is why I use, or how I use, each Kahoot tool. So in the observe, it's so that I have the option to choose different views to present information and keep it fresh and interesting. Also the big media option. So I love the slides. For my analyze, I use slides or a rubric on hand. It can save resources, and if time allows, I can complete one step at a time. For evaluate, is just as you're looking, you can use the word cloud. It provides feedback instantaneously, so we can see if how you've taught is exactly what the kids are able to give back to you, and learn how like-minded we are, and also be able to get a glimpse of each other's perspective. For positive feedback, help determine the next step for revision, because art is never done. The work is never done. Even though we may have done poorly on a test or a project, we can still continue to learn and grow from that experience. And having our classmates help us with that, especially the ones that are understanding what's going on, is super important. And finally, discussion is to give someone a second chance to make a first impression, because sometimes being able to redo a piece of work and what you intended it to say isn't necessarily what you created. So by getting that feedback from your peers, it allows you to go after it a second time. So our next slide is going to be a puzzle. We got some double points going. So I want you to sequence the components of a powerful peer-to-peer review session. There we go. I also love the puzzle because it helps slow down the answers a little bit. Helps my students think and take their time, and then not just trying to click a color as quickly as possible. "14 seconds to give an order." There we go. We got that 3 countdown, 2, 1. And the correct order is going to be observe and analyze, evaluate, provide feedback, debrief, and discuss. Great job, everyone that got that right. And for me, there's always I only have 1 or 2 that are kind of off there a little bit. So well done, everybody. So examples of peer-to-peer review in action. So I give 4 slides per kid. So this is just one of the elements that the students have to create with for digital design. Hierarchy is basically making sure that you're controlling where the words are going and where your readers and viewers are going through the project they created, whether it's digital or if it's painting or anything along that line. For this project, we did a what do I want to be, or what am I applying for to be accepted as? And so each kid gets 4 slides, and they have that. Kids can rename the words like poor and average and exceptional, and they can use language that they're familiar with. But still in class, we want to make sure we use the correct academic words so that they know that's going on. Plus, the benefit of this is that they've already used this rubric in order for them to create their project. So going into this review, this isn't something new, and they're seeing it for the first time. So it helps save on class time and makes them feel really confident in what they're doing. It can help them understand requirements, and it can also help you understand the vocabulary that they mean. So on the first slide that I use, is going to be their project. So this is a project that a young lady made. She wanted to be accepted as a princess, and so she gave some reasons why. If her mom calls me a princess, then she is a princess. And what do we get if she's a princess? Well, you get someone that is super bossy, dramatic, and delusional. All right. If that is not middle school right there, I don't know what is. All right. So we have our first project there, and the students will look at it and they'll do their rubric. The next part that we will do is I will use brainstorm. So the students can focus on what they feel was the least represented element. And so what they'll do is they'll type in one word and then they'll give a reason after it. In other sessions over the past 2 days, you've seen how brainstorm works. So you know that you can join different ideas, and so each student can see like, okay, well, my font was my class thought the font was really bad. Let me go back and look at that, or maybe my grouping or alignment or whatever the word that popped up most for everyone else. And so I usually give a minute, and it eventually, once they get comfortable with it, takes less than a minute. So the third slide that we'll go to is give them a chance to add up their points, whether it's you allow them to use their phones, a calculator, piece of paper, they can do it mentally. I like using culturally relevant and things that my kids know about. So for example, this is Tim the Tap Man. He is a streamer on YouTube, and you'll find him on Twitch. Big COD gamer. The kids know him. And some of the kids that you have in there won't know them, so they'll have that chance to talk while the scores are being added up. But you can find other stuff on there, but just finding the math and finding it humorous gives them a chance to kind of relax, because they know what's coming next is the final slide, which is a word cloud, and this is where we toss our scores in. All right, so I want everybody here to pick a number between 4 and 40 and type in your answer. Now, why is this number 1 bouncing? Well, the number 1 is bouncing so that I know that we just finished the first student. And in this class, I happen to have, I think, 17 or 18. So therefore, I know that I have 17 more. So if I'm working on my pacing, I'm working on my timing, then I know, okay, hey, so I've spent a couple of minutes on this first kid. So before I go to my next kid, then I need to make sure that I'm giving them all the same amount of time. So if we look on here, we have all kinds of scores. All right. There are some folks, even in your class, that won't follow directions. So we've got some 1s and some 2s and some 3s. All right. So the biggest number that was there was a 25. So what I would do is I would let my students know that, hey, when I scored this between a 4, which is the lowest amount of points they could get, and a 40, which is the max amount of points that they could get, I would give them a range of like, okay, so if you scored them between, let's say, a 25 and a 32, you were in the right range. You're in the same range as I was. Good job. If you're a little below, go back and look at it. Why were you so harsh? Always going to be someone that says, oh, well, they got 1,000 or they got 1,000,000. That's my best friend. They're awesome. Just let it roll and keep going. Make sure you stay focused on the purpose of the peer-to-peer review Kahoot. So here, time commitment. This is the results of my second period digital design basic class. We had 17 players. There were a total of 68 slides, and we got it done in 50 minutes. So we were able to get that done in one class period. I know some people have shorter class periods. My one recommendation is that once you get to a certain part of your class, you have to stop. Make sure you write down what slide you were on, and then you can pull that Kahoot up again and fast forward through it really quick, get to that one and finish up the following day if you have time. I see in the chat says, yes, slider could also work. Me personally, I love the word cloud because it shows the numbers. Sliders could work, but I try not to give points for quote unquote scoring other students, but slider definitely is another option. All right. So what are the benefits of fostering peer-to-peer review and collaboration? Well, there's tons of benefits, and it depends on like how deep you want to dive into it. But every class and every subject can benefit, and hopefully the experience will be extended beyond academics and into their table talk at the lunch or the hallway conversations in between classes. but it can improve relationships through being compassionate and understanding to others. Criticism isn't about putting others down, but helping them unlock new opportunities and seeing things from a different perspective. Practice with non-emotional judgment. It's middle school. Everybody is judging. I got to be careful what I wear. Not that it matters to me, but our students need practice with non-emotional judgment and just looking at the work in front of them as is. Publicly showing kindness. We are so fast to put out the negative, whether it be social media or talking to our friends and family, but being able to say, yo, that was a really good job. I love that color. That was a great, where'd you find that, online? I want to use that picture, showing that publicly showing that kindness is important. And finally, learning that we can all succeed at the same time. And we're here to make sure everybody looks better. And if we're making sure the person in front, behind, left, or right of us is looking good, then we're looking good as well. All right. And finally, I want to leave you guys with this. And this is from me to you. Like, where can you embed peer-to-peer review in your own curriculum and classroom activities? And I want you to think beyond, they have to present the work they did on a PowerPoint or the work that they did in Google Slides or whatever your LMS is. Like, how are you going to, is it just so that you can sit back and grade and have an easy class period? Or are you trying to use it to help grow your students to be active and productive members of society, showing kindness and love to everyone that's around? That is up to you guys. So thank you very much for your time today and for listening. Aurora up there, matching the sunglasses. Booney, half a sunglass. All right. With 300,740 points. Miss M in first place. Well done. Welcome back, Hannah. And everyone, enjoy the rest of your day as you learn more about the Kahoot. And don't forget to go back and just, chew on some of the things that you've written down and learned today and be ready to use them when the school year starts. Because, as teachers, we're not doing any of this stuff in the summer. We're waiting for those 3 days of PD we don't get at the beginning of the year that's filled with meetings.
Awesome. So true.
That was out loud. I'm sorry.
We appreciate the realist. Thank you so much, Chase. Thank you for your insight, expertise, and really cool to see all the engagement in the chat. So if you haven't already, collect those notes for your own toolbox too. So many of our experiences in navigating these new learning tools, instructional tools, and really dreaming up the endless avenues our lives can take are all powered by technology. Anthony Johnson from Apple Education might know a thing or two about tech-powered experiences and kind of what it's like to put them into action, put them into good use for a lifelong education in all things STEM. Now, as the education leadership executive with Apple, welcome, Anthony. We are so glad you're here. Thanks for sticking with us. Oh, Anthony, you are muted. Love the excitement and intro. We'd love to hear you too. There we go.
Right. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
And can you see my slide deck? Apple.
Yeah, we are good to go. We see you and your slides.
Okay. First of all, I'd just like to thank you all for hosting me, allowing me to share. And just got to give a quick shout out because I said in the session, Chase, amazing educator, man. I believe you're the type of teacher that I needed. So again, my name is Anthony Johnson. I'm a leadership executive on Apple's education team. Prior to joining Apple, I sat in your seat. I was a teacher for 17 years. I taught on all grade levels from elementary school all the way up to high school. Teacher of the year, been all over the world talking about education. And the thing is, I never imagined that I would ever work in education. Never desired, never had any wishes to ever become a teacher because I didn't have a great experience. I sit in classrooms where I was unengaged. And because I was unengaged and I was bored, I failed 4th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, and 9th grade before being forced out of high school. So I dropped out of school at the age of 16 and worked minimum wage jobs and struggled for 10 years. It wasn't until both my parents died 6 months apart that I realized, hey, this is not the way. And I did a lot of soul searching and I was depressed and I realized that my problem started when I was sitting in an unengaged classroom. So at the age of 28, that's when I discovered my why. My North Star was to become an educator and give kids a different experience. That was it. And that's what I did for 17 years. And that's what I've done for the last 3 years with Apple. And it's one of the reasons why I joined Apple. Over the last 40 years, we've had the privilege of working alongside amazing educators around the world just like you. We know firsthand the impact that great teachers and powerful technology can have on learning. And I have a question for you. Our experiences with you and many educators that we have on staff lead us to a very important question. How do we empower all learners and prepare them for tomorrow? So in the chat, can you please answer that question for me? We'll give you probably about 30 seconds. How can we empower all learners today and prepare them for tomorrow? And Hannah, I can't see the chat, so if you can help me out here.
Absolutely. I'll relay some exciting
Thank
answers.
you.
We're hearing so much excitement about technology differentiation. Wow, they're coming in so fast. I need to put on my glasses and goggles. Give them the tools that they need to evaluate information, building relationships, building confidence, inclusive teaching, autonomy, listening, safety, critical thinking. You tell me when to stop, Anthony. They're rolling in.
Give me a couple more. I'm loving it. Oh my gosh.
Teaching resilience. We need to make sure that we're including interest and content that is relevant and relatable to our students, being inclusive, respect, giving our students a vision, inspiring students for engagement, confidence, thinking, listening.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so now I wish I could see the chat. I'm loving it. Kind of want to change the presentation now, just to talk about your answers. Let's go keep on moving. So at Apple, when we think about enriching lives in education, it's about creating products that unlock the unique genius in every learner so that we can make a difference in the world. As a student, the iPad is what I needed. As a student, apps like Kahoot is what Anthony Johnson needed. Apple products and services are part of a large, thriving ecosystem that works together to enable users to do just about anything. You probably already know half of our apps already. One of the things, if you're familiar with the App Store, we offer thousands of education apps. We can help educators discover apps that can offer great experiences on iPad and Mac to help address your needs. Let's talk about Kahoot. As a teacher, I use Kahoot to engage my students. When I talk about my why, my North Star was to help all students, was to create an environment to give kids a different experience from what I experienced as a kid. And one of the things was just student engagement. When I sit in the classrooms, and I'm giving my age now, in the 70s, all I had was a worksheet, sit at my desk all day, and the teacher sit at her desk or his desk, and I was not engaged. And I didn't want that same thing for my students. I was fortunate to work at a school that was one-to-one with iPads. And I'm gonna tell you, the kids love Kahoot. I would use Kahoots for exit tickets. I would use it for just understanding. And then if I got a kid that was in the classroom and he looked like me, he was one of those kids that was not engaged or a so-called behavior issue, Kahoot was that bridge to reaching that kid. And it's important when we reach these kids, we got to think about what are we really preparing kids for tomorrow? Look at the top skills that are going to be in demand in 2025. And I can think about it right now. Some of these are probably in demand right now. Creativity, complex problem solving, critical thinking, technology design and programming. What are we really doing in the classrooms to really get these kids ready? Think about when you're out in the world. I had a doctor's visit probably just a couple of weeks ago. And as you can see, this is, this image, it's real. I actually had a doctor to come in with an iPad. Think about construction workers. Think about social media influencers. Now, think about putting an iPad and that power in the hands of every learner. What truly mind-blowing is that young people in schools around the world today already have the industry tools in their backpacks, and we have to use them. Technology creates opportunities for anyone to access a quality education. First, we need to accept the new reality that modern technology is no longer a nice to have, it's nice to have in schools. It is a basic requirement. The world is changing. Just let's think about AI, how much that has blown up over the last couple months, and also augmented reality. If you think about our announcement with the Apple Vision Pro, but we have augmented reality right now that's available on education. One of the things my teachers used to do at the beginning of the school year, and I knew they were doing this for a writing sample, they would say, write about your summer vacation. Well, the problem is we were so poor, we didn't take summer vacations. So I would make something up. And I knew they were doing it to get a writing sample. But imagine iPad in the hands of a kid that can't travel outside of the school district. I taught 4th and 5th grade science and social studies in North Carolina, and I had to teach lighthouses. My kids had never been to the coast of North Carolina. But with augmented reality and iPad, they were actually able to visit and to see those lighthouses in scale on school grounds. Take a quick look at this video.
Anthony, it looks like some of our viewers aren't quite hearing anything. So if you have a second to give a quick synopsis on the awesome visuals, it seems like we were able to follow along with the pictures and whatnot, though.
Okay, so you guys didn't hear anything? You just saw the video?
Yeah, we just saw the visuals. It was fun to follow along.
Yeah, so all it was the students, so there was no audio, it was just music. And that was just students just showing the engagement of students using augmented reality. And that's it. So we believe every student should have the opportunity to create something that can change the world. And we have, everyone can create, we have everyone can code, we have programs that are available for teachers that are free. Here's a QR code to stay in touch. The conversation doesn't have to stop here. We want to stay connected. We will be sharing ideas and insights from Apple Education and your peers. You can sign up to receive them. I'll leave this up for a minute, and then I'm going to actually stop sharing my screen. Leave that up if you guys want to go ahead and take it. Sorry, I lost my mouse here. Okay. And I'm open to now, if you guys want to drop any questions in the chat. Like I said, I'm a former educator. I taught 17 years. I use Kahoot on a daily basis. And to be completely transparent right now, I'm a season ticket holder with the Charlotte Hornets. And they use Kahoot inside. I don't know if you guys know that or not, Kahoot, but they actually use it probably every other game.
That's awesome. And so cool to see the different contexts. Of course, so many people joining here know Kahoot as an education tool. And now there's such different context and background in social settings and family settings and community settings. And thanks for shedding light on that today, Anthony. We so appreciate it.
And I also want to say that when they put it up on the big screen, it is actually the kids in the arena that are leading their parents to show them how to log in and use Kahoot.
Yeah, talk about like flipping the classroom, flip the family, help our kids really do the teaching and the learning and so much of that facilitation. Thank you for leading us through that and sharing so much the context kind of behind the how for reaching students. So crucial, whether in a Kahoot form or maybe just in tech in general. So thank you, Anthony, for sharing that know-how.
Thank you.
Understanding not just the know-how, but really the social emotional intelligence and the availability and accessibility behind that know-how is actually what we consider to be kind of the first step in reaching students. Today, we're joined by Mark, a lifelong educator with 25 years of experience. That's quite a lot in building student relationships. Mark's passion for SEL curriculum and what he calls his day job with Microsoft puts him in front of educators and decision makers really around the world, helping to bridge that connection between access, SEL readiness, and ultimately knowledge acquisition and growth. Welcome, Mark. Thanks for joining in.
Hey, thank you. Complete pleasure. Great to be here. I'll just quickly share my screen and we'll get rocking and rolling. Just give me a moment. And you'll just let me know when you can see my screen.
We can see, yeah. Thanks, Mark.
There we go. That's awesome. Great. So thanks, everybody. Delighted to be here. Let's just jump right in. My name's Mark Sparvel. I'm with Microsoft Education. As Hannah said, I've been teaching 25 years. I've been working with Microsoft for the last 8 years where I'm involved in education marketing. If we're not following one another, let's fix that up. You can see on the screen, I've included my Twitter handle. Feel free to tweet out any screenshots from this session. And also there's a couple of other links. One is a community that I founded on Facebook, which is the Sell in Edu community. That's got around about 27,000 people involved who are interested in the best practice and next practice when it comes to social and emotional learning. So feel free to follow me. I'll be happy to keep track with you. I'd like to start off just with a thank you. As a former educator and a school leader working across Australia and then globally for at least the last 15 years, I know that it's a job that's unique to any other profession because it comes with an emotional toil. The truth is that schools are social places and learning is a social process. It's something best done together. And because of that, as educators, we get the good things, lost teeth, people learning to read and write, but then we also get lots of challenges. And certainly the last couple of years have shown us how resilient, resourceful and creative educators across the globe have been as they've met the challenges of moving to remote and hybrid modes of learning, dealing with trauma, with loss and stress, which continues to this day. So a huge thank you to all of educators out there for investing some time today. We're going to look at some tools and we're going to have a little bit of fun along the way. As I said, learning is a social process. It's something best done together. And because of that, emotions matter greatly. They literally act as gatekeepers to motivation, why we do what we do, attention, where we choose to place our scarcest resource, and also how we process information of the world around us, our cognition. So emotions act as a gatekeeper to those. We know that in the best of times, schools are an emotional roller coaster. When I left teaching after 25 years, the biggest surprise working in a corporate environment was that there wasn't somebody crying in my office every single day, whether it was a teacher, a parent, a child, someone was always crying. Schools are an emotional roller coaster. Again, emotional intelligence matters greatly here. Now, I work for Microsoft Education, and one of the things that we're really excited about is some of the new developments that are coming to life through Kahoot. They published a blog a couple of days ago highlighting 3 quite incredible new features, which are being powered by Microsoft's Azure OpenAI. So these features included things like a new search engine, semantic search, which takes advantage of
takes advantage of the 1 billion questions and the hundreds and thousands of quizzes available in Kahoot, makes it easier to search. A new advanced brainstorming features, which can automatically categorize brainstorm categories and put them together. So if we asked a question around what's a great strategy to improve happiness, and a whole bunch of people had listed going for a walk, it would automatically categorize those for you. Does a lot of the heavy lifting. So improved search, improved brainstorming, and the most exciting feature of all, auto quiz generation. If you've been like me, you're a substitute teacher, you've suddenly got to take a class, you want to have an engaging brainstorm, you know they've been studying, I don't know, parts of the brain. Rather than sitting there for a sweaty 30 minutes building a beautiful Kahoot, you can actually lean on the generative AI functionality to create that for you. And you can always edit it, of course. This is about empowering educators and giving educators time back to do the things that matter most to them, building and sustaining relationships. So there's a couple of awesome features which are coming out in Kahoot, powered by Microsoft's Azure OpenAI service, which is really cool. I always like to start with an emotion check-in. It's a tricky question though, because we don't feel one thing at once. We often experience bipolarity of emotions. We can be excited and anxious. We can be terrified and also anticipating something. We can feel proud and guilty at the same time. So it is tricky asking, how are you feeling? Sometimes it's better to ask people about the energy they're feeling, or whether it's pleasant or unpleasant, or what are some of the emotions that you're feeling. But let's imagine we were going to ask you to have a quick emotion check-in using one of these beautiful emotion characters called feeling monsters. I've got the t-shirt on here. Just have a little bit of a look. You can pop it into your text chat. I'm sure Hannah could summarize. But how might you be feeling today? Pick one of those feeling monsters, 1 to 9. These are part of a collection of 51 feeling monsters, which you'll be introduced to in a moment, available in Kahoot and also available in Microsoft Teams as part of our Reflect tool. So there's the cute feeling monsters just for a moment.
A lot of people are feeling monsters number 6, Mark. I just like warm and fuzzy feelings of happiness. I'm seeing some 4s of like, I can do it sort of things too.
That's awesome. That's great. Super cute, those feeling monsters. I could make a fortune selling the t-shirts. Emotion check-ins are important because they signal to people an intent to pause and reflect. And the word reflect, by the way, is a Latin root word, which means to bend back, right? So when we reflect, we literally bend back. Introducing tools like an emotion wheel can help students develop and expand their emotional vocabulary. We call that emotional granularity. And it's really important because you have to name it to tame it. So this is a great example because it starts off with simple emotions in the center and they become more granular as they move out. So asking how people feel is great. Introducing more complex language to be able to accurately label emotions is better. Another example, this one from the Yale Center for Emotional Intelligence, asks students to plot whether an emotion is pleasant feeling or on the y-axis, it's energy level. So a high energy, unpleasant emotion might be rage. A pleasant, low energy emotion might be content. So you can see you've got to stop and think because the world isn't happy, sad, angry, mad. It's 100 emotions in between. Here's something super cool you can do with this in Kahoot. You can take it and drop it into a Kahoot as a drop pin activity and undertake a very quick emotion check-in with your class, with your students, asking them to possibly just indicate the level of pleasantness or unpleasantness or energy, high or low, and use that to kick off a conversation. It's a quick, incredibly easy emotion check-in powered by Kahoot, just as an alternative for you to think about. It's my #1 favorite tool at the moment, to tell you the truth. I'm obsessed by it. So I mentioned the cute feeling monsters and reflect. So there's a website at the bottom that explains them. It's a tool which allows a teacher to collect subjective well-being information, how a student is feeling about friendships, how they're feeling about their work, how they're feeling about their progress, and it reflects back to the students a journal of their emotion check-ins. So over time, they can see that their emotions fluctuate. And trivia fact for the next trivia night, the word emotion means literally to be in motion because they're constantly fluctuating. But for students, often they think that how they're feeling now is how they're always going to feel. The truth is, emotions fluctuate based on internal and external forces, and we can develop the skills to navigate our emotions and also navigate social situations, the emotions of others. So the Reflect Cute Feeling Monsters don't just sit inside of Microsoft Teams. We've made them available through videos you can watch in a free world in Minecraft, where the students chase after the emotions, catch them, categorize them, and put them into an emotion organizer. They're available in PowerPoint and Flip as a sticker pack, but also available in Kahoot, which is really awesome. And I'm going to show you a couple of things to do with that. One thing is really handy is to actually embed a Kahoot directly inside of PowerPoint. So if you were creating a lesson for a virtual class, or you were creating something to project up onto the big screen, you can do that directly within your PowerPoint presentation. What I'm doing is I'm just searching for an Office add-in and I'm searching for Kahoot. I found it there. So I'm going to add Kahoot, and it's now going to be a persistent part of PowerPoint. It's going to sit there in my toolbar. You can see that it's created a new slide. And what it's waiting for me to do now is to paste the link to the Kahoot quiz directly within there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to flip out into my Kahoot. I'm going to have a look through the premium collections. I found the Microsoft collection, and sitting within there is all the goodness of the Feeling Monsters available for free. You can see 1.7 million players. There's been about 500,000 gameplays. There's a range of professional development activities. There's also obviously quizzes wrapped around different things connected to emotions, how to manage stress, express gratitude. Also available in Hebrew, Spanish, and Dutch, alongside English, with more languages we're contemplating coming. But let's pick one of those to get its unique address, and maybe uncomfortable or comfortable, or maybe just expressing feelings. We'll grab that one. So we'll grab this quiz. You can see we've got the classic summary of the questions. I'm going to copy out that unique address, and then all I have to do is swap back into PowerPoint, paste it, and then when I hit present, it's ready to go. So that easy.
I just want to make sure that we're seeing the right screen with you. That all of these steps are so helpful and so important in any kind of classroom context and experience. And I know everyone else really wants to follow along. We're seeing what looks like a editable PowerPoint screen. I'm wondering if you were showing us. Okay, just wanted to make sure that we were in the right spot.
Yeah, I didn't want to put it in the presentation mode because then you wouldn't see the tools. What
No
you
worries.
should see,
Thanks for checking.
Yeah, that's okay. What you can see now, though, is the present view, where within PowerPoint, the quiz is opening up like you would expect into classic mode, and it's ready to go. So what it would look like from this point of time is just like you're playing Kahoot. This is just embedded, though, within PowerPoint. Here's a feeling monster. He started a new school, hasn't met anyone yet. How might the monster be feeling? Could be a number of correct answers, anxious and lonely, perhaps. And then you can get a little prompt, which can kick off a great discussion for the start of the school year. We've also intentionally made it appreciative. This isn't about feeling isolated, left out, and sad. It's also understanding how pleasant emotions work, low energy and high energy pleasant emotions. So what might have helped Feeling Monster feel included in this situation? Again, the aim of the game here isn't to teach social and emotional learning. It's to provide educators with a tool to kickstart a conversation. Another thing that I'll just call out, and I won't run this all, but
you're looking at my incredibly messy Teams screen here. But the same thing happens with Kahoot within Teams. So I can search for the Kahoot app, I can add it to my team, and I can use that with my team of educators. In this case, I'm going to add it to my Microsoft internal team, the growth and incubation team. It's as exciting as you could imagine. And what we're going to end up with is a Kahoot directly sitting within our Teams channel. And that's what I love about this. One of the things for a busy teacher is you don't want to always be heading out to something else. It's nice to have everything in one place. So within Teams, I can have my Kahoot. Within PowerPoint, I can have my Kahoot, and it works beautifully. And you'll see exactly this happening now. I'm going to grab one. I literally grabbed and used this Kahoot with my team. I've got sitting on the top rail, I've now got Kahoot, and I can just simply drop and run a Kahoot directly within Teams. It's genius. Let's jump on. Looking at social and emotional learning resources within the Kahoot library, thank goodness for the new AI-powered semantic search, because there's a lot of goodness. There's piles of courses, and you can see just a snapshot here of social and emotional learning courses available to support busy educators sitting inside of Kahoot. There's the Feeling Monster one sitting there, but you can see we've got Sell with Kahoot Academy. Plus also, we've got the Kahoot quizzes themselves. So awesome quizzes from Empatico on perspective taking or cooperation. I played around with this one that I think a user generated, which is using the Castle framework to help better understand self-awareness, self-management, what responsible decision-making, social awareness looks like and feels like. So there's some great Kahoots available, ready to go, ready to use with your staff and certainly with your students too. We know that for all students, like any grown-up, any human, we've got some pretty basic needs: to be seen, to be heard, to belong, to have the power to contribute, if you like, to have voice and choice and agency. And one of the exciting things about technology right now is it gives every learner the best seat in the house. It gives every learner the tools they have to be seen, to have a voice, to feel connected, and to have a chance to contribute their big ideas. That's what excites me in the work that I do in Microsoft each and every day, is leveraging technology tools and tools like Kahoot to give every student that best seat in their house. And we know that the greatest potential for technology is really about humanizing learning, making sure that students enjoy, feel seen and heard, and have a part to play in shaping their future. It's not just about creating digital content. Some follow-ups to consider after this, because we're just about on time. You can get more of the good stuff around social and emotional learning from Microsoft and Microsoft partners, all mostly for free at aka.ms/SEL. Join the community that I founded and I run with Committee for Children, Sell and Edu. Join the 30,000 people sharing best and next practice. And of course, follow me on Twitter or catch up with me via my blog. I put a star there because I put 50 must-use chat GPT prompts are sitting in my blog at the moment. So if you're interested in generative text and prompt literacy, be sure to check out the blog. That's all I've got for you, friends at Kahoot. It's been a pleasure sharing with you. Hopefully there's been some useful tips and tricks, and I'll pass back to Hannah in the Kahoot studio. Hannah?
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mark. And really cool to engage with the chat. I hope you have a second to kind of refresh and see all the conversations about how important it is to make those connections, and building in SEL as not just like a standalone, but a supplement and kind of the foundation to all other aspects of curriculum is so, so important. So thanks for walking us through that, Mark. I know people are really excited about the integrations with Microsoft.
Awesome. Pleasure.
And absolutely. And building those relationships, making connections to your students can really, truly be the pivotal point for student growth, success, empowerment, and because really, who knows, the confidence that you instill in an elementary school student, a middle school student, even might be the confidence that takes them to a basketball championship, maybe playing with the Charlotte Hornets, as Anthony was telling us earlier, a spelling bee series, the front cover of a book, or even a red carpet experience. We are so thrilled and so excited to bring our last session to the stage as we welcome Emily Hampshire of Schitt's Creek and now an author herself. I have a feeling she might know a thing or two about what it takes to transition and be really the hero of your own journey as first an actress, now an author, and all the steps in between. So welcome, Emily. We are so excited to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. I also am obsessed with feeling monsters. I've never seen that before, and I feel like everyone, including me, needs that.
Right, absolutely. And like so important and so crucial to be in touch with the connections that you make to like, who am I and how am I showing up in this classroom, in this school, in this community? And sometimes it's different. It's all about that context switching and what it takes to really be true and authentic to yourself, but also the self that you want to be 5 minutes from now, 5 years from now, or even in a new experience and journey. And I'm kind of wondering, I'm imagining that kind of resonates and might feel a little bit authentic and true to your experience. And if you could tell us a little bit about what it's been like to be in so many different industries of so many different contexts and what it takes to really be you in all of those situations.
Well, I mean, a teacher changed my entire life and is the reason I became an actor or even became anything within myself. I was in high school and I wasn't a great student. We didn't have Kahoot back then, so I wasn't that interested in what we were learning in class, in math and just the basics and stuff. And I did a play after school. I had this tiny little part. And after the play, my high school vice principal, Ms. Swiderski, who I still talk to today, came up to me and said, "You were really good. You were really funny." That's all she said. And it was everything. Like, it totally changed my life.
Isn't that so cool that like that teacher who maybe was just giving like that gold star of confidence, I'm imagining it probably was true, but in the situation where it's like, here, let me just give like a few warm and fuzzies to this student and hopefully they feel excited off stage. And those like really offhand remarks are now decades later still so important and so true to what decisions you're making now.
Yeah, just to like you were talking about it before, I think Mark had mentioned it, to feel seen is everything, especially at that age. And to be seen for something, to me, it was like I was good at something for the first time. And I just went headstrong into acting. And from then on, it was that I had a purpose. And that not only that teacher, I had so many other teachers who stayed after school with me and like read to me, because I didn't know at the time, but I was dyslexic and I couldn't get through books. And so they would read to me after school, and which is something I find now with my comic book. I love that sometimes kids who are dyslexic can get through the book so much easier, and they like feel successful like I used to feel when I could get through a comic book or a graphic novel. So yeah, I mean, I am obsessed with teachers. That's why I think I've forced you guys to have me as part of your good thing, because Nicholas Ferroni is an educator who I go to his high school a lot to talk with his students, and we played Kahoot for the first time. I played it, and he did a Canadian quiz, and I failed. All the students.
Kahoot can give you that. We hear from teachers all the time. In the Kahoot is when you fail or when you need to kind of whip up and build that progress, because when it really matters in assessments and conversations and presentations, we got you covered.
I love that. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, we're kind of the backup. We're helping build that foundation and reigns true to kind of whatever the experience might be. We hear teachers all the time talk about how Kahoot reaches students, learners, kids, family members, where they are, whether it's by like feeling comfortable with technology, that gamified and playful experience on Kahoot that feels familiar to the video game, or it's the, like in your case, maybe it would have been helpful to have those visual cues of pictures and graphics kind of aiding in that literacy experience. And cool to see kind of all of that come together, as now advice to you in those early years are now like, I would imagine that these teachers feel kind of responsible for, look at you now creating young adult graphic novels that really kind of tie that loop and build that whole foundation for other people who might be experiencing those literacy difficulties as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm actually seeing someone in the chat say that similarly, they experienced dyslexia, and how interesting and kind of impactful your education experiences, your classroom experiences can be. Someone else is saying that words have the power to bring really life to students. And my 5th grade teacher, they say, was one of that brought in their crazy ADD mind, and forever thankful to her. So really cool to kind of see that full picture. And I'm wondering now, seeing the other side of what it takes to create a graphic novel, bring characters to life, what has that experience been like for you as you're now planning like the literature and the reading experiences that are coming to kids that may have been in similar situations as yourself?
Well, quite honestly, it was at first a very selfish journey. I wanted to make this story. Well, I'll tell you a bit about the story. It's called Amelia Airwood Basic Witch, and Amelia is the black sheep of her very famous witch family, who have gotten their own reality show, not unlike the Kardashians. And she gets kicked off the show because her magic is just a little off-brand for them, and it's not the kind of magic, it's basic magic. It's not their kind of magic. And what she ultimately learns is that she has her own special magic. And in writing this book, I felt like I got to go back and tell my younger self, like, everything you think is wrong with you or that you have to fix or change, that's your magic. Like, that thing is going to
I feel like you need to say it again for all the people in the back, that no matter, even if you're not a kid, like if this is, I know a lot of grownups are joining in, like, oh, speaks right to my heart.
Yeah. And that's why I say it's kind of selfish, because it did that for me, because Amelia ultimately learns that like the thing she thought was bad about her is actually the thing that makes her special, that makes her stand out. And so in writing it, I did think about my younger self so much, and that's your superpower. Like, the thing you think is your flaw is your superpower. And so that journey for me in writing it, and also Amelia's not me. So she definitely has, she breaks the fourth wall a lot. Whenever she has anxiety, she goes into this kind of place called the void, and she talks to the reader. And that's something that I feel like I always have this need for, like, truth and a real connection, even when things are getting really anxious. And so I've kind of put all my therapy went into
I was going to say, it sounds pretty therapeutic. It sounds like so much of that writing experience and self-discovery, maybe, and understanding identity, whether it's through writing a graphic novel or maybe in the work that teachers are doing as they see little versions of themselves meander into school every day. Kind of cool to identify and really understand, oh, this is my authentic self. This is my superpower. And I know we still have nearly 1,000 people joining in with us. And I'm wondering, as people are sharing in the comments, what are the superpowers, and I'll relay back to us for conversation. What are the superpowers that our educators and our people joining in from all over the world, maybe what they connect with as feeling so much of like their authentic self, whether it's, you were saying, like understanding what reigns true to you, how to tackle that fourth wall of anxiety, but also so much more than that. Maybe it's like, oh, I am an expert listener. I am a true empath, whatever that superpower might be. Dom says, teaching is my superpower. I use theater experience to teach middle school. making everyone feel included is Hillary's superpower. And really cool to kind of see that overlap. Emily, what would you consider to be, and maybe this is like the call to action from everyone joining, that they need to read the Amelia Earwood book to know and kind of see that identity and true. What would you say that your like real authentic superpower might be?
Oh, wow. My authentic, I do kind of think I've learned that I think my superpower is being my most authentic self.
Authenticity. Yeah. I feel like that is so true.
I hear that from people on my Instagram and stuff. Whenever I hear something from somebody who they felt changed by something I said or whatever, it's always when I've been just the most honest and me. And usually that's something that affects other people whenever anybody's authentic, because then other people are like, oh my God, me too. And then you feel like, oh, that's okay. And honestly, I just have to say that teachers are superheroes. They have their superpower is just being teachers. Like,
amen. I mean, that's what our whole event has been about today. I see it on your background and my background too, that teacher with the Kahoot superhero cape. And there are so many different facets of what being a classroom and teacher superpower and superhero might be. Like people saying that they're not afraid to ask questions when they don't know the answer. Someone else saying how important it is to be silly and be goofy and relate to your students instead of being kind of that buttoned up, really formal relationship and presenter. How cool to know in your firsthand experience about what it means to like really show up as yourself, it not being a performance, even though you may have a little bit of experience performing and acting, but ultimately kind of bringing that wall down and just being you, and how powerful that can be.
Yeah. Oh, I love that though, that teacher saying that, saying their superpowers of just being themselves is such an influence. Like, I feel like my teachers were the role models for me in my life. And I think a lot of people don't always have their family as role models, and to have a teacher who you look up to and you look up to them because they're actually, like that one teacher said, they're asking a question when they don't know the answer. Like, that is such a great thing to learn at a young age, that you don't have to like pretend you know everything. And yeah, I love teachers.
I'm like kind of channeling that teacher perspective and that teacher superpower identity. If you could now either into the future or go back in time and be a teacher for one day, what do you think you'd do to kind of impact your class and your community?
Oh gosh, I thought that was going to go another way. I thought you were going to let me go back in time and be a student again.
A follow-up question. Take it whatever way you'd want. I think both perspectives are relevant here.
I do think especially when I go visit classrooms now, which is one of my favorite things to do, is like a lot of the time I go visit classes and the students want to like perform something for me or show me like some theater thing they've done or whatever. And it's actually so good for me to see what it was like as a beginner when you wanted to show and you wanted to, like, because I think as an actor, you can sometimes get insecure in a way of you think actors should always be performing, and there's a certain shift that happens when you become a professional actor, that there's a lot of anxiety with it. But like when I see students who are so the innocence of youth and wanting to just show themselves. So that is, if I could be a teacher for a day, I would love to just like celebrate them, like to watch anything they want to bring forth and be like, that is amazing. That, because every single kid I've met who shows me anything of themselves, it is amazing. It is. So
that's so special. And I feel like I was in the education space for many years, and there's so much pressure for teachers to build curriculum, differentiate, meet students where they are, that we sometimes kind of push to the wayside those moments of celebration, whether it's a big extravagant end of year reflection party, or it's just like your high school teacher after your theater production said, hey, good job. That was really awesome. You really surprised me in all the different ways that you were performing in this way, or celebrating this, or taking this risk. And that seems pretty feasible. That doesn't require any tech background. That doesn't require any lesson planning. Just party, just celebrate the success and the growth where it is. Meet students where they are in that celebration.
Yeah.
Awesome. That is so fabulous. And I feel like a perfect way to kind of summarize and wrap up our event in saying that there are so many ways that we hope Kahoot kind of facilitates that celebration, but also always taking those moments in between, like Emily is sharing. That last kind of piece of advice and insight is that there's never not enough time to celebrate, whether it's those big moments and big achievements, or kind of the in between, and sharing that know-how and taking the risk of being authentic to you to kind of take that next step, whatever it might be in your journey.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what when you were saying, what my teacher did, she literally just said, you were really good. You were really funny. Nothing elaborate. It takes like a second. And it doesn't have to be big. It's just that tiny moment was huge to me. It was everything.
That's awesome. Emily, I'll give you your last tiny second then to share back with all of the thousands of educators that join in on the Kahoot EDU Summit every year. What would be like your last second piece of advice or celebration, or kudos even, to everyone joining in on our stream?
I mean, kudos. It really is. With Amelia Airwood, we've done a partnership with Donors Choose, which is this. I think a lot of teachers use this for what I didn't know was that teachers spend their own money on supplies. And that's something I would want to say to educators, that first of all, I can't believe that the people who don't get paid enough to teach children and change their lives are spending their own money on supplies. And thank God there's Kahoot that you don't, you can use that. So yeah, just the biggest kudos. I'm your biggest fan. I am every teacher's biggest fan.
Awesome. Thank you for leaving us with that, Emily. We started off with like the nitty-gritty PD session here today, and now we're wrapping up with so much inspiration and that heartfelt experience of what it means to be a passionate and impactful educator. And we are so thankful that you were able to join and leave us with those words of wisdom and kind of sum up all of what it means to be a part of Kahoot: curious, inclusive, playful, wrapped in one, being authentic and true to you in those celebrations. So thank you for leaving us with that, Emily. We so appreciate you being here.
Thank you. And thank you for, this is my first background ever, my first Zoom background. I actually had to Google, I'm like, why does it look backwards? But that's what happens.
You're front facing, you're good to go.
Front facing.
Yes.
I'm going to keep this on forever. I'm obsessed with the whale. And thank you for having me.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Emily. And to everyone tuning in, we hope that you don't click away just yet. Maybe you even grabbed a final selfie with Emily's character, My Superwoman, in the background. And we hope that you learned so much and made this time both impactful and worthwhile. In all the sessions today, we ushered in and out so many different speakers, so many different backgrounds. And we also want to take a second to thank all of the people engaging with our chat. We know, of course, we're so thankful to the speakers that tuned in for sessions today, but also for all of the educators, leaders, learners in our chat stream, sharing their own advice, their perspective, their insight about what it means to be a teacher in 2023. So we are so glad you're here, and we hope that you continue learning with us offline too. In case you'd like to rewatch and relearn from any of these sessions, you can find all of the sessions today and yesterday from day one of the EDU Summit on demand at www.kahoot.com/webinars, or back on the Summit registration page, and we'll also email them back after the fact. So you can stay tuned for your certificate of attendance for joining today to claim those PD credits, again, via email in the next day or two. And we hope that you stay in touch with us for all things awesome learning, all things Kahoot, and definitely let us know what you're doing to make learning awesome in the classrooms and beyond in your community. We are so glad you're here. Thank you so much for joining, and we'll see you on the podium next time with Kahoot. Thanks, everyone.